Hmm.
What up,
Eh,
folks?
yep. About sums it up.
We're still
That about
here.
sums it up.
Oh my gosh,
It's
man, I
so good.
can't stop
So good.
coughing. Oh man, your Hape shirt's looking fire.
Yeah, dude.
Our
You
Whack
bet.
Donald shirts are looking real nice. I mean, our Whack Donald's. What do
Visors.
y'all think about my hair popping out of that visor? That's
I
wild
know,
looking.
right?
Your hair
That's
is looking
wild.
real nice and gelled up. What's up, peeps? Metasculptor Kurt Too Deep, always
Oh,
here like
nice.
usual. Dirty Dan.
Oh shit.
We
Look
saw
at
Dirty
this.
Dan at NFT NYC.
It was amazing.
Yeah, she's amazing. Beautiful lady with her boyfriend were there. They had fun. They hit up the parties.
Yeah. You missed the first party they were at. We told that story though.
Is our cough making monthversary. Well, when did we get COVID? We got COVID at the end of
Uh,
NFTY NYC. What was that? The
yeah.
20th?
So
We're getting
yeah.
close. We're getting a solid month
I
in.
mean, I'll say this. Without a doubt, I will be coughing on the month anniversary for
Right.
sure.
Right.
Not going. It's just one of those annoying. It just won't go.
I think I'm
We'll get
6 to 8 weeks. I still sound
there.
like I'm sick, but I feel fine. Papa Grant, everyone give Mudcat201 a big hello. That's Papa G.
I,
See, Dirty Dan got
oh,
COVID.
see,
It only
got
lasted a
COVID.
week.
It
Dirty
only
D.
lasted a week, but are you totally good? Because
Uh,
here's my honest question. I'm still, dude. I get tired
I'm
real
so
easy
tired.
still, and the cough, and it's not like all the time, but I'll have little fits of it. Like it's just like there. You know what I mean? If I take a super deep breath, I don't know. Just
Right.
curious. That's
Yeah,
where I'm at.
I
I
would
mean, I
love to
feel
know
okay. I
too.
have energy. I'm working out. Everything's good, but it's just I'm not right there yet. Who knows?
So what do we
Who
got,
knows?
man? We got since we're still tired, I don't think we'll be on here too long. As far
I
as you know,
so
here's the reality of the situation. It is not like back in the day when we're trying to get Collider pre-sale spots and Phantom Network pre-sale spots. Hence the Whack Donald's visors that we got at the PXN event. Um, it's a lot of free mint stuff. So there is possibility. I was talking to good old God, aka Ray. Uh, it might be fun to just do some degen mints together and talk about those. Um, you know, not financial advice, but it could be fun to have those events. Maddie, I'm pitching this live on stream. I want to get your reaction.
okay. All
Um,
right. What do we got?
Listen to this. Ray had another amazing idea.
Ooh. Okay.
So Sundays we do our like wins and losses. Do any like topical stuff like an NFT NYC, and then give
Okay.
marbles and whitelist lay if we want to. Then we hop over to Twitter Spaces for a half hour to give a different type of exposure, and that's when we do our market updates and just jive with people. I think it's an interesting idea.
I think it's an interesting idea. I I I feel like we've talked a lot about Twitter Spaces. So it'd be weird then having one, but I mean, we could certainly give it a
Listen,
go.
man, I
Hold on
think.
here. I do think though Ray is also talking about checking out Stone's Twitter. Some big news in the space developing.
Uh
I do see that.
oh.
That's a little interesting.
Uh
That's a
oh.
little
What is
interesting.
Stone's Twitter?
I'll let you take a look.
Uh oh.
Dirty Dan still have a bit of yeah, yeah. So I'm still congested too. Right up in here. Just trying to get that out. Spazoinks, good to see you. Yeah, man, we got these at the PXN party. Had to wear them for our NFT NYC update day.
Oh boy, here we go. Why do you want to hold a root troop? Blah blah blah.
It's mainly the, as you've probably seen by now, Root Troop NFT have terminated our partnership with Llamaverse. And then he goes on a thread.
Sometimes business gets messy and it's a shame, but we can carry on. Look for the place to go for Web3 jobs. Root troop, Rudy F and Roo. Terminated our part. They just held a party together in NFT NYC. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Since the very beginning, to their team. Oh boy, he's posting Heliquin Discord posts. It's a launchpad and recruitment service where they will help projects fill roles. Stepping on some toes.
Yeah,
Stepping
so
on some toes.
a little dicey, a little dicey. All right, let's see here. Da, 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 da.
Oh boy. You know, so
Yes.
here's why Maddie and I do our thing. And this is it. You know, we even learned some we Maddie and I have learned many life lessons along the way. And here's going to be my response to this whole situation. I'll respond to this, and then you can respond to it, Maddie.
Okay.
Because I mean, let's summarize this really quick. Stone was the one of the first people to launch a Web3 job platform.
Yeah.
Llamaverse has quickly come in, and Llamaverse is doing a lot of stuff.
Yes.
So they saw the idea. Now they're launching it. Seems like Morgan didn't know that they were doing it. It was like finding out through Discord. Here's what I'm going to say about this situation.
Okay.
One, Maddie and I have learned many hard lessons as to why Maddie and I will always be the founders of our company, and that it will be it. And if we were to ever do a massive partnership like that, it would take years for us to agree to do anything else shared wise with another partner.
Well, I mean, I think look, before
Hold on. I'm not done yet. That being said, competition is part of business. And people, if there is no competition, business sucks. There needs to be competition. And since they had a long-term partnership, and I don't know and I'm not going to, don't take this as like I know what's going on. I'm saying from my opinion, the courtesy of saying, hey man, we're about to launch the same thing. We think we can bring some value to the table. Is there a way to collaborate? Or if you don't want to, say, hey, this is what we're going to do. I want to give you a heads up. This is why we're deciding not to partner with you. You at least owe those people a courtesy if you've been doing business together for 6+ months. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to speculate on the details, but the bottom line is that business partnerships, it's like things can happen. You just got to approach everything carefully, right?
Right.
And the other thing I would say is that sometimes these things are volatile, but then they restabilize. Like, it
Right.
wouldn't even surprise me if tomorrow or the next day the posts were, hey, we actually figured it all out. We're going to partner. It's going to be even better than we thought. Done. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and it may not be that, but I'm just simply saying that I think in this space, there's just a lot of people who haven't had the experience yet to deal with what business partnerships really entail. People are very quick to say, sure, let's collab, sure, and then it's like, okay, well, are you business partners at that point? No,
And
you just collabed once together, and
mm-hmm.
I just think everything has to be taken with a grain of salt. I think it's smart that they're being transparent about it, as long as it's still not like confrontational or personal, right? That doesn't benefit anything. So I don't know. That's where it is. But I do want to get to the main point because today, rather than talking about that, you know, I don't know. I don't want to really talk about drama. I'd
Right.
rather talk
Agreed.
about NFT NYC
Hell yeah.
and just
Let's
our
do that.
overall experience because we also got a lot of
Mhm.
people in here that were there, which is awesome. E-Man, by the way, thank you for that Prime sub. Appreciate it.
Dude, E-Man, Prime sub. Thank you,
And
dog.
also, real quick, back to the whole COVID thing because that's definitely part of NFT NYC. Dirty Dan, that the eye thing was so it's so interesting you mentioned that because a couple people have asked me this. They've said, when you had COVID, did it feel like your eyes were gonna freaking explode? And you know what's weird? First of all, the answer is yes. And the whole time, that's what happens to me when I get migraines.
Right.
So I thought I was like, am I getting a migraine while I have COVID? Is that what's happening? And I was taking my migraine medicine trying to stop the eye pressure, and it wasn't. And I didn't understand that. And a bunch of people were saying that's actually a COVID thing. And man, that sucks. That did you have that eye pressure, Mike?
No, I just felt like I relatively was gonna die for 4 days straight, but
God. Well, to each
everything
their own. Yeah.
everything hurt. I mean, you guys can still hear my voice. Like it's my voice is still not right. It's crazy.
No, for sure.
I can't go high. I've tried. By the way, can we at least get? We have 14 viewers, so by the end of this stream, we at least get 14 views on the YouTube video, the Seth Green I just launched, because it's 10 minutes your time, and there's some funny shit in there, and I did some custom sound effects and
Mike's
stuff.
very excited about it,
And
folks. Sure.
please take your time and leave us a comment and give us your genuine thoughts because I would
Can
be
you throw the
very
link up?
interested.
Throw the link up in chat.
I'm gonna throw the link up in chat. And by the way, we're gonna start. You know what? I just got an idea, Maddie.
Oh, talk to me.
We're gonna start a YouTube title channel contest. And if
Ooh.
people can come up with amazing YouTube, if we pick your YouTube title, you will be getting pre-sale whitelist spot or something in the future.
I'm sure we
And
can figure something out.
and there will be perks and benefits to it. But this is Seth Green Gets Wrecked. Not too time relevant. This happened like over a month ago, but so Maddie and I have been just what is like we're probably averaging one video, well, the last 2 weeks. When we were doing it before we traveled and got sick, we're averaging a video a day. And we're going to
We will get back to that.
we're going to get the production help and Ray's helping, but even Ray and I cannot produce this much content. Vetting some editors, and we are going to start putting up as much content as possible because we know we have something extremely special. Most of the people in this space are 100x this, buy this project, but we're building stories, talking to people and doing something unique. We have some other big announcement. I don't think we can talk about it yet. The tweet has gone on, but there will be a tweet. We'll retweet the tweet. We're partnering up with some people to help us out, bring value to you, and hopefully some value to us. Maddie and I are really going to start racking our brain on how we start monetizing this because this isn't sustainable if we don't make money eventually. Obviously, we still want to bring you guys a ton of shit for free, but we're really going to ramp shit up the next 6 weeks. And the reason why is, let's talk about it, Maddie. NFT NYC, huge thing for Maddie and I because we got to meet a ton of people. How do you want to do this? Do you want to just
Let's
go
just kind
day
of
by
go.
day?
That's what I was thinking chronologically.
All right.
So, because first of all, we meet up at the airport. That was its own little Charlie Foxtrot. Freaking BWI could not get their head out of their ass.
Oh,
Couldn't get
bro.
Mike's luggage. Couldn't get the plane in time. Although, fun little story. Amongst all that, while I was waiting at the arrivals
Yes.
and I went approximately 12 inches in terms of distance in my car over about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
They had all the baggage claim was backed up, and then what happened there, Mike?
The Oh, dude, this is the craziest thing. So when did I land? Like 1 a.m. or something. I took basically the equivalent of a red eye. Got there, luggage is delayed. One of the luggage return belts breaks, and then our luggage finally comes out. It's like at least a half hour, if not more. Luggage starts coming down. Fourth bag comes out. It's my bag. Luggage belt breaks again. And by this time, it's like 2:15 in the morning. And I was the last bag that came out before the belt breaking again. And by that time, it took about 45 minutes to get there. And we
Yeah.
were all good. And you know what's kind of fun that I thought about this idea too, Maddie. So as we're talking, I'm going to link shorts from our YouTube experience. I'm going to link
Okay.
shorts in the chat. So the short so we get through this. I finally get my bag and I'm like, we need to film everything, right? We were on the filming as
Yeah.
much as possible.
Yep.
Boom, our first short is created. And that's when I see Maddie for the first time reunited. So I don't know, but how do I get back to like the older shorts? Oh, here we
Good
go.
to go there. So here's the thing. We get back and we're like, okay, we need to get some rest because we knew like we're gonna be up late every single night. So let's get some sleep and then we'll hit the road. So get up, hit the road. We had everything packed, everything's good, and we're on our way up to New York. And even during the trip there, Mike was like, "Hey, I already have some phone calls we have set up just on the way, so we'll have those meetings." We knew we were going to be on the phone with God and get like kind of a whole like, "Hey, what are you hearing? What because he's had his ear to the ground on things." So we had a couple calls planned, and of course you heard the story about the rest stop. And here's what happened: is Mike's like, "Matt, you need to do a YouTube short. So just you got to get used to it." Because I'm not. Mike is much better at the impromptu. He can just turn his phone on, look at it, and just do whatever, and it's funny. And so I'm like, man, what am I gonna do? So they had Mountain Dew Code Red, and Mike has made a big deal about that. And I was like, I'm gonna do something about the fact that I'm getting a Mountain Dew Code Red. But before that, and you already heard the story, I had told Mike, hey man, we're gonna be in New York, cash. Why don't you keep some cash between your phone and your
Link in
case?
chat.
Yes, right. Why don't you put some money there? That way, just in case if we get separated or if you need a cab, if you don't have your wallet, at least you have, something. And he was like, "Great, man. Thanks. This is an awesome idea." And I had already filmed my first little short I was going to do about Mountain Dew Code Red. And it was just a little like 10, 14 seconds, something like that. Just like, hey, look what they have, blah, blah, blah. But as I'm walking out and I'm trying to learn how to upload it as a short, I'm looking over at Mike. And that, of course, as you know, is when I saw that his phone case was clear because he's sitting there talking on speakerphone, looking at it and just displaying to the world cash on his phone right there. And so that was fantastic. And that's what turned into that first short that I sent. The other thing you need to know is whenever you're with Mike, here's the easiest way to describe Mike whenever you travel with him. And honestly, this is really just all the time. Mike Mike is a piñata, okay? Wherever he goes, candy and stuff is just everything he has is just spilling out everywhere. It's just uncontainable, right? If he uses something, he's the kind of person like, oh, I need chapstick. Use chapstick, and he'll put it up on your dashboard. And then he moves his phone over here, and then he needs to plug in a cord somewhere, and then he reaches back to get medicine and throws that bag down by his feet. And so it's just an explosion of Mike wherever he goes. And at first, I thought it was just on the ride up there, and then we got to our place and
Oh
saw
man.
the apartment and it just continued. You just like whatever you do, wherever it is, that's where it goes, and then it goes on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an interesting experience. But then yeah, man, we got up, we got on the phone with a couple calls. I think we had a pretty good strategy for what we wanted to do. got into New York, got the parking, did a little walking tour. That actually was a ton of fun. Whatever that weird walking building, what was that
Yeah,
called,
what
Mike?
is that thing called? Has anybody been to the building where it's just a big staircase? It's like a walking. You can just walk up the
Yeah, looks
staircase.
like it's made out of like brass though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That
Yeah,
one was
but it's
good.
kind of fancy. That was cool. And then we get settled in. Trying to think, what do we did we get? I mean,
What did we get? So we did the little walking tour. We got settled in Friday, and then we went to the Marriott, and we were like, "Hey, we didn't have anything to do that
right.
night." We tried to go to the
That's right.
Marriott and
Yeah.
get to the bar, but on the way
Yeah.
there, something interesting happened, and this was like the first kind of like cool moment. We stopped by and we saw Sandbox was having a party, but apparently there's a Playboy NFT. Did not know this. There was girls with like little bunny ears. And we started talking to that guy and he's like, "Yeah, man, I'm going into that later." And then I, pitched who we were and I had the guy follow me. He was already following me. So I met a real in life follower and we hugged it out and it was fantastic. So we
By the
put
way, Chad,
I made another little YouTube video about that. And that was before we even got to the Marriott, which was, I
true.
mean, this is awesome. This is an
That
interactive
was
stream.
that
We're like throwing links in the chat so you
by
guys
the
can
way,
follow our journey.
Mike, people love that I called you a pinata, by the
Well,
way.
you got some people laughing out loud on the piano thing. I mean, it's a
I
good
mean, is
way
that
to.
I was literally trying to think of like what's something that just explodes and leaks everything everywhere they go, and I was like, pinata has to be it. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
that's just
fitting. My wife did come into the room about 4 hours ago and looked at me and she was like, "Dude, you got to pick up your shit." So I mean,
well,
it's reality.
guess what, man? You got a couple weeks. I didn't bother you at all, man. I just trudged on through all of that stuff. I didn't care. You just kind of get used to it. It's really not a big deal.
Right, right.
Um, what's funny is how it doesn't matter what the value of the object is. Like, if it was something like I don't know, like a water bottle or something, I could set it down and not really care. But if it was like a $300 camera, I'm gonna put it back in its case, put it where it's supposed to go. Mike doesn't even matter.
No, no.
He'll think his dude. You'll put your cell phone in like a kitchen sink if that's just the most like if that's what's near you. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's just
absolutely.
bizarre.
I'll figure it out as long as there's a
Yeah,
place to lay
yeah.
down and it's not too
It's
wet.
oh yes,
Okay, so we
but
get to the
yeah.
Marriott, and what did we do? Oh, the Marriott produced
So we walked around. First of all, we did
Matt's
walk
cough
around.
is
I'm sorry.
unbelievable.
I'm trying. At least I'm not doing the thing trying to fight it. Don't make me laugh. So,
I'll talk about that on the towards the end. Okay, so
no,
go
we got
ahead.
to
We
the
got to the
Marriott. We
Marriott.
got to the Marriott. We went through like the actual layout of I guess you could say the show itself, but like everything was kind of closed down. Nobody was in the booths yet. So we were able to walk around and get some pictures. And then we ended up on where the lobby is, which is like the eighth floor.
Right.
And then we just went over to where that restaurant was, where the bar was, and there was a bunch of people hanging out, and that
Oh,
was
wait,
kind of
wait,
cool.
wait, wait.
Up, up,
You
up.
missed
What
one
I
of the
missed.
most important stories. I'll let you go on the bar. But before the bar, Matt finds this ball that has graffiti on it. And he does this
Yes.
perspective and it's a bone, right? But I didn't see the perspective that he was looking at. So it produced this beautiful YouTube short. And the perspective he was looking at definitely looked like some balls in a D. This is a solid YouTube short because I'm clueless.
Oh, it's
Like
so great.
when you watch the video, I am totally clueless. I had no clue what he was doing, and
I
I
was
didn't
so
even get
upset
it until
too.
he showed me.
Oh, it's like, how do you not? And then I had to show it to him on the actual
Couldn't
camera.
even see it. So I am that is my natural reaction of just purely clueless as to what he's doing to me. Okay, so we get to the bar. What do? We have a couple drinks and what?
Yes, we did have a couple drinks, and we met. So Mike's immediately starting a conversation with the guy next to him,
Mm-hmm.
and they were there. They were part of a project. They were new to the NFT space ish, but they were trying to do their own project. We got talking to him, but then you got to meet up with.
Oh,
You gotta tell me her name. I already forgot it.
damn, that's a
Crap.
tough one. Hold on. I think she just texted me.
That was the
Um,
first person that you like knew in the space who
so
knew
yeah,
you.
Allison.
There it is. There it
So I
is.
met her in Hape, and she tried.
Yeah.
She did what I would have done in officer's arm position. She just straight up
Yeah.
DM'd me and was like, "Listen, what do I got to do to get Hape list?"
I love it.
And
I'll
I
be right back.
was,
Get a drink.
she
You
was
keep going.
very direct about it, and I was like, "Listen, it's pretty much done." She did it towards the end, but I don't know. She just kept in touch. I guess she liked my vibe. So she was, which is crazy. So she was like a news anchor for like local news channels, and then ended up in New York. So like she has a pretty robust video media career, and she pitched. I apologize, people. She pitched. She basically just pitched an NFT to us, and we're asking for advice. It was based on horoscopes. I really know nothing about it. No one's really done a good job with it, so it was interesting, but I think we gave her a lot of things to think about. And it
Yeah.
was what a lot of people do. They try to launch an NFT and they don't thoroughly think through it. And, it was right. The market has pretty much crashed at that point. She was going to try to charge money. And it's like, listen, right now, if you don't have even Possessed, right? It was tons of hype. I think it got up to point 0.6, and it just wasn't uh
Well,
just wasn't
the
well
bottom
thought
line,
out, I
yeah,
don't think.
the main thing is that more importantly than all of that was helping her recognize that like the skill and talent and ability that she already has is what makes what she can do valuable in the space because it's rare. I mean, you know what I mean? She's already got a TV personality
Yeah.
and built, and it's like, man, that's the win. So anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. But then after that conversation, this was cool. We end up going back over to the bar, and that's when we met the Coinbase guys.
Yes. So we met
Remember
the
that?
Coinbase guys.
And that was fantastic. I'm glad we have their contact info because
Did you write that down? Because I don't remember that.
I got on Twitter. Yes.
Hell yes. We have a Coinbase contact now, so we're gonna reach
Yes.
out to them.
And it was so funny because let's just talk about that. Because remember when we were asking them why they were there?
Right.
Dude, they were so quiet about it. Get this, folks. So, like, listen, reputations, all that stuff, but it was kind of weird because we're at NFT NYC, and wouldn't you think if you were part of one of like the largest companies, actual companies, you'd kind of like, I don't know, like rock that, like wear it like a badge of honor? Dude, these guys, not a single thing said Coinbase on them. They're hanging out at the bar. The only thing that gave it away is their actual passes, their actual like ticket lanyards did
Right.
say Coinbase on it. But like they whispered, they were like, "Oh, we're from Coinbase." Like they said it like in a hushed tone, like they would get jumped if other people heard it. It was kind of weird. And so I thought that was weird, but then once they opened up, they were actually really cool guys. They'd both come from big tech companies. Was it like one was like Google and the other one was something else?
Yeah, they were smart, and Matt's leaving out another very critical part about this story, as they are trying to be nonchalant. Me and Mikey G's form and fashion, I'm like a straight up PSA going, "Hey everybody, these guys work at Coinbase. Come on down."
Yes,
Just totally not being respectful of I think what they were trying to do. Because
so stars.
I was excited.
Yeah, so Star, you say they probably didn't want to be bombarded. It wasn't. I asked them. I said, "Why are you guys kind of being weird about it?" But you know what was funny is that I guess they had this perception, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Maybe you guys know something I don't. But I guess they made it sound like they didn't have like Coinbase didn't have a very good reputation in the NFT space specifically. And I think it might be because they've been talking about how they're going to be launching NFTs for a long time and they still haven't. And so maybe some people are like butthurt about that. and I don't know, maybe they got a little bit of flack on day one, and so they were just kind of like, "Ooh, wow, that didn't go how we thought it was going to go." But I thought it was cool meeting them, and
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the
I
day,
mean, there were
Coinbase has
engineering
brought more
guys
people
too.
into the space than a lot of other companies, so they're doing something. They're
Yeah.
doing something right. But that was a good conversation, and I told him, I said, "Man, we'd love to get somebody. What they're going to try to do is get us in touch with a person who would be the kind of person that would come on our show and be able to talk from that perspective about Coinbase, because I think that would be a really interesting and a fascinating interview. I mean, wouldn't you agree?"
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think Coinbase would be great. They weren't the right people because they were like the
Not
engineer
them.
people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're just tech guys.
And this is the thing, man. So here's the hard part, but I still think we can do it. But companies like Coinbase, and we'll get to, we talked to Ledger, we talked to other really big brands. I still want to talk to executives. I don't want to talk to the project manager, like the like junior project manager fresh out of college. I could care less.
Yeah, and I think we could do that on a lot of things. The only reason Coinbase might be tough because, I mean, dude, Coinbase is a huge company, man.
Yeah.
Huge. Now I'm not saying
I'm
that
not
wouldn't
saying I need
happen,
to talk to the CEO.
I don't know. I feel like I could be wrong, but once you get to that big of an organization, I mean, like in Geico, everything starts getting like they have their PR team and legal team, what they're allowed to say, what they're not. It just gets kind of just scripted. They don't do a lot of off the cuff like
True,
conversations, but who
true,
knows? Maybe not.
true.
If they saw some of our streams and
Mm-hmm.
saw that like we just ask about them, their background, their history, and what they're
Mm-hmm.
fascinated about crypto, I think that's certainly much easier, right? There's nothing to worry about with that. So I don't know. We'll
Yeah.
see. But to be continued.
E-Man says it
To be continued.
right. People's asses are sensitive this day, although
Yeah.
that can be interpreted as people's asses are literally sensitive. Just comes off depending on how you're reading it. I know what he's trying to say, but it could be interpreted in a different way.
Yeah. Well,
No, but I'm with you, man. I mean, it depends. But listen, we made some good contacts, and did that round out like our good conversations that night? We talked to a couple other people. Other
yeah, those were the memorable ones.
Yeah, those are the memorable ones. And then
There
so
was
we go home.
Yeah, go home. Now tell them, give them a little idea of what the place we stayed in was like, Mike. I'd like to hear your description of this.
Oh, well, imagine imagine a like decent sized master bedroom. Not even a decent sized
Oh,
master
geez.
bedroom.
Master
A
bedroom?
half of a decent sized
Size,
master bedroom.
a decent size bedroom.
All right, a decent
Like not even a
sized
master bedroom would be this small.
bedroom with a shitty little electric stove, like a little micro or little fridge that's like, the little ones that are like 3 feet off the ground with this like janky little freezer. I don't even think it had a freezer. And this was the real topping icing on the cake. The bathroom, it did have a shower and a tub, but imagine you made a bathroom and you had a shower, you had the mirror and the sink, but then you were like, oh, fuck, I don't have enough room for a toilet. But they're like, you know what? Fucking anyways, I'm going to put this toilet next to the wall. So I shit you not, while you were shitting, you were at like a 45. Like you couldn't sit straight on this. And like, listen, I'm a bigger dude, and it wasn't because of my girth that I had to go to the right. Matty Boom Boom was hitting at a 45 too. Like there was no way to sit
Here's all
on
you need to
this.
think. The left side of this toilet, if you make your hand into a fist, you could not put your hand between the wall and the toilet.
No,
That's how close it was to the wall.
no,
I've never seen anything like it.
no.
I mean, it was hilarious because Mike being Mike, I said he's a pinata. In many ways, everywhere he goes, things leak out of him. And so, he gets back in and immediately needs to use the restroom. And he's like, bro, I don't know if I can use this bathroom.
Ugh.
And then it was him complaining in the bathroom for like 5 minutes, and then he figured it out at the 45-degree angle to make it work.
Dude,
Very
It took
Very
an,
confined
it
space.
took a straight up engineering degree to figure out how to shit on this thing. It was
Oh,
unbelievable.
dude.
So we figured that out. It took me about 5 minutes to wrestle. Finally, at a 45, was not comfortable, was not ideal, but it was $200 a night, so
I mean, yeah.
it worked
It was
out, and we were
for what
close.
we needed it to be. It was perfect. It was perfect.
Where did we stay? We stayed
So it was an
31st
Airbnb. It could be 31st and
and something.
34th.
31st, 34th. It was south of Times Square a little bit. It was an Airbnb. It was part of like a apartment slash condo complex. Um but listen, Maddie and I agreed with this. It did the job. Like,
Absolutely.
we needed nothing else. We weren't going to be there the whole time. Literally the only thing.
Wait, didn't you take a video? Didn't you take a video of like doing a tour of the room? Oh,
Yeah.
there he goes.
Uh,
Longshank the
I
consumption
did
cough.
take a video. Hold on. Hold on. I think I did a tour of our room.
Yeah.
Except I did it. I did a pre, but I think I only posted the post, but I'll put the post up. The post was
Okay.
along the pinata situation.
Uh,
Dude, it
oh
was
boy.
it was bad.
Yeah. So Star, 100%. This was not. This was perfect for like two guys crashing, knowing they were going home in a week. Preferably, it would have been nice without COVID. But for like crashing for a week, two guys, it was perfect. It was just it had college vibes. Think college dorm room. It was very much that. That's really all it was. But many times it was interesting because many times we're sitting there and we would talk about it. I'm like, what's really crazy for us? This is like just a hotel room that we know we have to stay in for a week, and who cares?
Right.
But like people we were getting in and out of the elevators with, which by the way, those elevators, everything about this whole place was tiny. Like you had to be 4'11" and then you were fine in this place. But everyone else, it was a problem. But I'm thinking people live here. That was what was so astounding. Remember we met that couple, and I was joking because this we see this couple on the elevator, and he had a thing of Haagen Dazs. This
Oh my gosh.
the the, the Haagen Dazs this guy had. Have you guys seen the
Cutest
really
little old Asian
small?
couple.
Yes, like the really small ice cream Haagen Dazs. It literally looks like a shot glass
Yeah.
of ice cream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? So he's holding that, and I made a joke, and I was like, "Oh, going all out with the Haagen Dazs," and he started laughing. And I thought about it. He had to get that one because that's the only damn thing that would have fit in the freezer. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
it was
Like,
unbelievable.
it was just so crazy. It is. I am genuinely astounded that there are people who live in New York City in these studio apartments and just like live in these
Yeah.
insanely confined spaces. But I mean, to each their own.
Miserable. I would be miserable. By the way, Matt's wearing a Hape shirt that we got from the Hape parties. We're wearing the Whack Donald's visors from the PXN party. And I'm wearing Midlife Crisis Fam shirt. Bonji gave us his fire department shirt. He only had a size that would fit me, not Maddie. And I am proud and honored to wear this son of a bitch.
It's awesome.
Just needed to
Yeah.
do that too.
No, absolutely, man. So yeah. So I mean, tiny little place. We crash. We wake up the next morning. Now it's like the first full day
Mm-hmm.
of event, right?
We're excited.
So
We're
we're
excited.
excited, and Mike said we're heading towards Radio City Music Hall. Listen to some speakers, and Mike's like, "Hey, listen, man, let's see if we can get you in." We get there, get at the door. Immediately, they're scanning every single badge. So I'm kind of like, "Oh man, maybe I should." At that moment, that was like the one moment I was thinking maybe I should have gotten a ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But then Mike's like, "Hey, just head over to the Marriott, see what's going on over there, and I'll eventually meet you back over there. I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna see what's going on here." So, all right, fine. So I went to the Marriott. Mike, you had your scenario with Radio City Music Hall. What
Mm.
happened there?
So I think because I waited till the last minute to get a ticket, I think I bought the $800 version. You're not the $500 version. Uh, they are supposed to send you. So there's this weird nuance. One, no one should ever have a conference in New York. There's just not a place big enough. You got to use multiple venues. It's a pain in the ass. You should be going to Orlando. You should be going to Vegas. You should be going to LA, where there's these huge convention centers and everybody can congregate there and you have enough nightlife around. I mean, listen, New York's cool. I just don't think it's ideal for a conference. So, of course, Radio Music City Hall was a venue they wanted to use because they have a massive stage, tons of seats. But the issue was the main conference was handled by Eventbrite, and Ticketmaster has an exclusive deal with Radio Music City. So you had to get a different ticket, and they were supposed to, Ticketmaster was supposed to email you when you bought the Eventbrite ticket, but I never got the email, so I had to wait in this stupid ass line. Shit took me over an hour. So all the stuff I wanted to see in the morning, I missed. I finally get in, I sit down, I watch some stupid little talk, and I was like, this is stupid, I'm leaving. There's nothing else here I want to see. So fortunately I met a couple people, but nothing like, oh, we're going to get you on the show, or, just nicety, small talk stuff. So that was a complete debacle, total fail by the place. Apparently most people did get it, but there was still a pretty large line of people that were waiting because they didn't get the email or something was messed up.
Yeah. There it is. You sneezing? Get that
out. No, I'm coughing. So that was my morning. Maddie, what did you do?
So then, while he's doing that, the whole time he was doing that, I went over to the Marriott, and I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna need. Here's my thought process. I'm thinking now the event's going on, and I see at the bottom floor they're checking for passes. However, like I told you, the lobby of this particular Marriott is on the 8th floor. Why? I have no idea. I really don't know why that is.
Makes no
So what
sense.
I do is I'm like, all right, I'll go up to the 8th floor like I'm checking in, but they have escalators, so I'm just going to go from the top down. And then, Bonji, we talked about this. If you just act like you're supposed to be somewhere, it's very rare anybody ever stops you. Like you could just walk into a rando restaurant, walk into the kitchen, act like you're supposed to be there, into the freezer, just say you're checking inventory or whatever. You could walk out the back door, and like no one's just going to stop you because they're, oh, all right, they must supposed to
Sorry,
be
man,
here, right?
I got to get a drink. I can't stop
Go
coughing.
get a drink. So what happened is I just said, I'm just going to act like I'm supposed to be here. And so as I went down the escalator, the first row of people, as they're coming out, all the people that were checking badges, I literally just walked past like I was trying to get to my table. Nobody stopped me. So that was pretty easy. Now, that being said, I wouldn't say that it was like crazy security or anything there, but I just walked through the whole event that way, got to talk to everybody, made a bunch of friends, waited in line with this guy who was actually one of the 1,500 speakers that they had, but real sharp guy, actually part of this investment group out of Korea. He had just flown in for. And so that was actually kind of an interesting contact. We'll get in. We'll see if something comes from that. But this company basically is putting together, the closest I would say is, I would just say for entertainment purposes only, right? In case the SEC is listening. It sounds like they're putting together essentially a hedge fund, but with crypto and NFTs. And so I thought that was kind of interesting because how to develop that in a way that makes it not a security is fascinating to me. But I don't know. That being said, hung out, was there. As we already said before, the event itself was pretty underwhelming. You could see the entire event in about an hour and go through and like see all the booths and the tables and the whatnot. So I did that, and I checked in with Mike and I was like, hey, what's going on there? He said, this place is beat. I'll come join you. He came, joined us, and then by that point, we were looking. We were already like, I don't know if being here is even going to be the best use of time. So Mike, I'm back where you joined me back up, and you would grab like the free lunch at the thing there at the convention, and then we rolled out. We were like, this is a waste of time. There's there's really not much to see here.
Okay, so you met a bunch of people, and then we started walking around. Got a little. Hey, they at least gave you a lunch each day, which really wasn't that enticing. It was a bunch of grain bowls and shit. Come on, man, give me something good.
But where do we? So we went to eat. We went to eat across the street, and that's when we grabbed lunch with Morgan.
Oh yeah. So, did we meet any good vendors there though?
There were a couple, but here's the thing. Again, we go back to this, right? It's like everybody that should have probably been a vendor there, outside of like Ledger and Coinbase, things like that. It's almost like they were incentivized to not be there because they were incentivized to have their own event somewhere else because that was cooler. Do you know what I mean? And the problem is then it just made all of these little micro events that you either knew about or didn't, and it wasn't all in one spot, which goes
Right.
back to Mikey saying why having a New York convention isn't ideal. Yes, dude, Hall's Relief, amazing. That lemon or that honey?
I'm taking Star's advice and coating my throat. So, yeah, so we find this little joint. It actually wasn't that bad. They had like old school diner food. And our first IRL meetup happens, and that's with who we were just talking about, our boy Morgan Stone. Dude, couldn't be nicer. By the way,
Yeah.
all of this content exists. It was just on Matt's phone, and apparently Britt and Ray could not access it. There was some
Well,
weird
let's
ass
talk about
file
that
format issue.
if anybody knows. Unless anybody knows. So I know everybody's going to freak out, but I do not have an iPhone. I have a Pixel. And what we were doing is, now to my credit, the video from my phone was significantly better than the video from Mike's phone, especially in low light situations, which is where I felt like we spent most of our time. So I'm taking these videos. Well, when I upload them to the OneDrive, so they're available, they're in the file on OneDrive as MP4s, right? So that's like the normal Windows media format, right?
Mhm.
What's weird is I can view them, but nobody else can open these files and edit them, and we don't know why. And so if you know some weird tip there or something that I need to be doing differently, I literally just uploaded the direct files and it's not working. So we're not sure why. But anyway, a lot of these videos are there. We're going to figure out how to.
So one of the things we should try is just to use a Google Drive. You should create your own Google Drive since it's a Google phone. It might play nicer. I don't know why.
All right. Well, we can try it. But in the meantime, yes, had lunch with Morgan Stone. Super, super nice guy. Ended up turning into like what, a 2.5 hour conversation.
Dude, we talked for over 2 hours, and it was like we were talking for 5 minutes. It was basically we had a stream conversation.
Oh, so good. So good. Got to really figure out like where he's going in life, what he's excited about. I will tell you, that guy is extremely sharp.
Yes.
And I've said this about a couple people we've met. I genuinely wish I was as sharp and thinking the way he was thinking when I was his age. He's firing on all cylinders.
Agreed.
For sure.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's like just a genuine good person.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I mean, just like has a heart for his team and helping as many people as possible.
Right.
And just willing to take time, and that was really cool because even after that fact was very quick to send us a text. Hey, where are you guys going? Do you need to go to this event? What are you guys up to? Just all around a good friend, and it was awesome having time to be able to do that. So
yeah, I mean, my comments are the same thing. Just genuine, really good dude. He's that guy that like that's gonna be a really good contact for us going forward. If we were to ever reach out to him and ask him for something, he would do it in a heartbeat. Like, dude's just super genuine and awesome. So that was our first real in life conversation, which was amazing. And that was the really I don't know what's going on. That was the first really
we're By the way, real quick, Bonji says WhatsApp can convert from Droid to iPhone and perfectly fine. So
Maybe we do WhatsApp. I don't
all right,
know. Let's try that. I
I
have
will take
WhatsApp. We could
take.
just start a WhatsApp conversation. Which, yeah, we can give that a shot. So after talking to Stone, what did we do after that? I
So
think by
then we
that
were like,
time,
okay, we were like, we need to go drop a bunch of stuff off because we had a ton of swag, free stuff, bags, things like
mm-hmm,
that. So we're like, let's drop some stuff off and let's go spy out where the hate party is because you wanted to go. There was an earlier version of it, like a VIP. No, no, not that. There was an even earlier. There was like 3 sessions of the hate party, and
yeah, they
the
were
earliest
partying at
one,
like noon.
dude, I know it was crazy. However, what they didn't communicate clearly, or what Mike did not hear clearly, we're not sure which, but could be either one.
Most
We're
likely
gonna
the
blame it on
latter.
him for now. But what they did is they did separate them in like these hour gaps of we need to close the venue, we're gonna redecorate or clean up or reset the bar, I don't know, whatever, and then let people back in. So when we got there, it was at the very tail end of the first round of their get together. So we
Mm-hmm,
couldn't get in. So we were like, well, screw it. We'll just go back to the place, drop everything off, and just come right back.
mm-hmm.
Right. So we did that, got back. And while we were doing that, we were coordinating with making sure we could meet up with Bonji, Silos, Kurt. Morgan wanted to meet up with us for the hate party. And
Mm-hmm.
then Mike was also simultaneously trying to get a bunch of other people into the hate party as well.
The
But
llama
we went
crew.
there. That's right. But that was the nighttime part. So we went in for
Uh-huh.
the VIP party, which was during the day. And that's the one when we got up there and it was actually on the rooftop.
And that was magical because I got to meet everybody that had worked. I mean, hundreds of hours I spent with these hate people when I was modding. And, you know, Christian was there, Mojito was there, Digi was obviously there. The newer crew, so like Chef, he does regular marketing for them. And who else was there? I think that's it. I think that was the posse.
The guy that was also at the PXN party, shoot,
Oh,
shorter guy.
Micah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so Micah he basically
Micah was
built the
taller.
entire HAPE
Taller.
fashion index.
Yeah.
He's a web guy, and he started his own company, didn't he? Or was going to?
So I thought Micah was the DJ, the tall guy. I don't know. Too many names.
Micah was the blonde-haired tall guy that did the
Yeah.
HAPE fashion.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the shorter guy that started his own business.
I don't know. Whatever. We met a ton of people.
We met a lot of people. It was fun.
And we met Cade, YouTube dude. And then there was a ton of YouTube people to meet, but we didn't get a chance to meet them. I met my boy Just Carl, because Just Carl and I were besties during the HAPE days. He's no longer with HAPE doing his own thing. We met Trap Monkey. We met Norm from Clementines. We met Kev from Clementines. We met the Metatope guys that are going to be on. We met the internet game guys that are going to be on. We met a bajillion people. And we had a freaking blast. And it was tons of fun. But it brings me to 2 points that I want to bring up. And this happened every night. One thing that we're building here, I think, is very special. Because Matt and I talked about this. So we're at a nice hotel in downtown Manhattan. We're at a pool rooftop bar with amazing views. Open bar. ASAP Ferg, who I have no clue who the hell that is, played that night. Fat Joe, I know who that is because he's my heyday. Guess who comes and gives us hugs when we walk in? Digimental. Guess who doesn't know who Digimental is? About 95% of the people there. So what's really cool is all of these parties that we went to, even when we went to Phantom Network, immediately Dex ran up gave us hugs and gave us our McDonald's visors. So what's cool is we're actually talking to the people. So when we go to these parties, we have contacts and we have meaningful conversations.
Yeah. Yeah, it was next level and what was interesting about it was what was interesting was how Mike said like 95% of people didn't know. It was so clear. I mean, we're sitting here at a party, all of these people were there, and Digi was walking around, and people just thought he was just another guest there. Like they were, they just for honestly, most people were just ignoring him unless they knew him. You know what I
Right.
mean? And that was what was so fascinating because it's like this is the reason we're here, and you all don't even know who that is. And so, to Mike's point, it having this show has really been cool because it's put us in a position where we can talk directly to. We built these relationships with the people who are founders, artists, and part of the fundamental team. And so that way, when we go to an event like that, the networking is fruitful. It's
Yeah.
productive
Yeah.
because they then introduce us to other people who are movers and shakers, which has been that's been the greatest thing I would say going to NFT NYC is just our
100%.
network has grown 10, 15 fold just easily from that whole event in terms of who we know and who we're excited to get on the show. And so
Right.
I think that's
Right.
really cool.
And we had, what was cool is we had the same feedback in real life. Meeting Kev from Clementines, who Stargirl is acutely aware how awesome of a human he is, was really cool. This is another story that I kept on repeating. So I did not know that Kev was like playing this game with Clementines that no one knew what he looked like or no one really knew who he was. So I immediately posted a picture of everybody I was hanging out with. But when you talk to Kev, he has a very low baritone voice, kind of like I do. Super chill, laid back. He's from Virginia, worked for the government. So I have, you build these pictures of who people are in your mind. So I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe on like the white redneck side of things, I'm not sure. Country bumpkin type dude.
Like a good old boy.
Yeah, good old boy. He comes barreling in. He's this short, stout Asian dude, and I'm like, I'm hearing his voice and I'm looking at him and I'm like, I cannot comprehend that this is the Kev that I know. It was so mind blowing to me, but it was just, again, really cool. Like, Kev, Norm, this guy, Sam, same dude. The other thing, dude, we met Trap. And when you hear Trap, he seems like, I don't know, he's from an urban upbringing, I guess is a PC way or a nice way of saying it. You meet
Yes.
this dude, he might be pushing 5 feet, super well put together, all cut up, black rimmed glasses like me. Dude looks like he came from Harvard. Couldn't
Yes.
be nicer. We had an amazing time hanging out with him and talking to him. Like,
Yeah.
just
That
super
was
amazing dude.
that was the biggest gap for me because you said, dude, you introduced me to him, and I'm like, in my brain, I was thinking that cannot be Trap Monkey.
No.
There's no way.
I was like, there's
that
no way this is Trap Monkey.
But yeah, it was by the way, we're still at we're at the VIP event, so it's daytime yet. We have not gotten to the nighttime Hape event, so don't worry, Bonji, because we met up with you guys before in between these two events.
Yeah.
So it was the daytime VIP event. They gave out some swag. That's where we got like the t-shirts and the hoodies, and of course, Mike's like, hey, we don't have to get everything now. We can get stuff later. So he goes through getting. And he's like, I'm going to get some swag. Grabs himself a hoodie. Leaves me hanging, man. Bitter. Still bitter about that, man. Still
Yeah,
bitter.
I did screw that one up. I mean,
But,
listen, I'm like
but
JoJo the Idiot Circus Boy. I get all riled up and I don't know what to do. But
those
here,
hoodies were fire, though.
here was the other thing too. It wasn't just because I was a hate mom, because honestly, like the core group of hate people that we talked about were there. But as we walked through, people started tapping us on the shoulder and being like, were you midlife crisis? And then one of the most magical moments also happened during that night. So, some of you might know back in the day, Mikey G used to host Hape Trivia with Christian. And, there were like 1,000 people playing, the chat's ripping like crazy. It was about the second or third time. And for some odd reason, as the chat's ripping through, a name just pops out in my mind, and it was Coochie Gucci. And I was like, you know what? Coochie Gucci is just a hilarious freaking name. So I'm walking across the party because basically what Matt and I did that entire night, we're like, okay, you started that side, I'm gonna start the other side, and we just walk and we're just talking to people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm walking across and I hear a Mikey G, and I turn around again. Short, young, little Asian dude. He goes, bro, I'm Coochie Gucci. And in typical Mikey G fashion, I almost drop my drink and just go, Coochie Gucci at like the top of my lungs. And people were like, what the hell is going on? Dude, so excited to see the cooch.
Carol through the crowd grabbed me and was like, bro, you gotta meet this person. Pulled me through, and he was like, you'll never guess who this is, and then proceeds to shout Coochie Gucci again.
Yeah, dude, so excited about Coochie Gucci. Coochie, I make Coochie feel like royalty the whole time. And that was another thing. By the way, Silos, I saw what you said, that we treated you like family. That means a lot. I mean, that was the other cool thing. Like, even me being like what I was able to do that night, because we had Digi on the show, we had a personal connection. Silos and Bonji didn't have Hapes, so I just got Chef and Digi, and I said, listen, man, I got two of our really good followers that want to come to the party with us. Got them in, no big deal. We bought them some drinks at the bar, and we just had a good time. Like that, Silos and Bonji can speak to. That's what Maddie and I are really formulating here. Like, once we start generating revenue and we've got a ton of ideas, especially from that Crypto Gorilla conversation, we will take a large percentage of the money and give it back to you all, whether it's we're doing events at these meetups, doing sweepstakes to help fly you out to these conferences to hang out with us. Like, that's really our end goal.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. And so just because Mike keeps blurring the two different hate events, and he keeps going into the late one.
Sorry.
The day one ended, and here's what was cool though, because we just said, okay, at that point we knew Bonji was like, hey, I'm already downstairs.
Dude, you got like a really soft.
I don't know.
There you go.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we go downstairs, and we're at the bar hanging out just at the hotel bar. And that's where Bonji was. Silos met us there. That's where Kurt met us eventually, because he came a little bit later. And that's where we just hung out. And dude, that was like 90 minutes just chilling, talking to the crew.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fantastic, just because that was where I felt like we got a chance to really meet you guys and have conversations and just talk about like New York, what you guys do for a living. And we got into all kinds of kind of side conversations, but the whole time, yeah, Mike, we're buying beers. Bonji kept trying to pay for his beer. Mike kept fighting him over it. Mike won. And and then, yeah, it was a great time. But yeah, we were able to get everybody into the party. The Llama crew showed up. Stone showed up. And then we had to get back in line. But here's another fun thing that was cool. We get back in line, and because that one bouncer who I had been talking about was up at the front, they were waiting to let everybody in. And that's how, remember, he was just like, oh yeah, I do remember you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just pulled us up, and that's what and it was great is that when he pulled me forward, Bonji and Silos just snuck right in with, I mean, not that they needed to, but we just went in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And went through, get up there. And so that was where now the nighttime event was starting. And that was cool because it was a different crowd. And we met a lot of other people that weren't there at the daytime event.
Right.
That was probably one of the better events, I think. That was probably, honestly,
That was my
Trump
favorite night,
networking.
hands
That was
down.
that was
Yeah,
the best event.
yeah.
For sure.
And then so the Coochie Gucci, the Trap Monkey stuff, that all happened after we had beers and stuff with Silos and
Yeah.
Bonji. And then our boy, we cannot forget to give the sexy male model DGen, Mr. Kurt Alexander. This son of a bitch drank enough tequila to kill an elephant.
Dude.
I'm
But
talking.
Sly. He was very in out. Like
Oh,
I noticed because I'm thinking about him, like every time I saw him, he was like, "Dude, I'm getting another drink. You want anything?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I'm like, man, every time I see him, he gets a drink. But then every time Mike sees him, he's getting a drink. I'm like, this dude is an animal.
dude. And he was toward the end of the, I totally forgot. I get to meet Prada, my little bro, for the first time. That was another mind-blowing experience to me because I've seen Prada's like picture and he looks younger than he does in real life. And I just picture him as my little brother. This dude's face is like fully like filled out. Like he looks like a young adult. And I was like, that's not what I pictured when I met Prada. And so it was cool to meet Prada as well. And towards the end of the night, I vividly remember talking to Prada and over comes Curdy Boy. And at this point, let's just say the tequila was splashing a little bit. It was not staying in Kurt's cup. And Kurt is just like, Prada, what's up, boy? And he's like, dude, I'm having so much fun. And then all of a sudden I look around and I'm like, that son of a bitch is gone. Like, what happened
Dude,
to him? And then I went to
he
Maddie. I was
straight
like,
up
dude, have you seen Kurt anywhere? And he's like, bro,
ninja vanished, bro.
he just vanished. And so we talked to him the next day. And I think that was around the time where Kurt realized, holy shit, I am insanely drunk and I need to get out of here as fast as possible.
Yeah.
So he did the old Irish goodbye is what we
Yeah,
call it.
a legendary Irish goodbye.
Legendary. Like
It was good.
for you to dip out of a party like that and not be able to know that you
Gone.
dipped out, he was gone. And so
Yeah.
there's a couple more things that I don't know if we want to talk about. What do we think about the Ray situation? We just don't even need to talk about
Probably
that.
not.
Let's talk
Probably
about that. So listen,
But he was there. But he was there.
along,
Say
yes, we met Ray from Phantom Network. We met Julia, the other person, and that was it. So that was the first night, and needless to say, we got home at 3 a.m.
Yes.
And it
a
wasn't.
fantastic conversation with from Clementine's.
Norm.
Not Kev. Norm. Thank you.
Norm, incredible dude. That dude
guy,
has his shit together.
Yes. Yes, big time. He that was probably one of the times like Mike and I have seen a lot, right? And we've been around some very influential, wealthy, powerful people. And there's some, that can be overwhelming but when you do get used to it, right? And so it's like I'm not super impressed these days. I mean, money, whatever. There's tons of rich people, but like when people are so sharp and have their shit together, and like they get stuff done, that's how Norm was. When
Yeah.
you're talking to Norm, you're like, this dude has a game plan and he's executing. And
Yeah.
it was interesting because in the midst of people partying, getting like blackout drunk, we're having this like fantastic business conversation. And it was being able to hear what his game plan is. And that's why I don't want to share anything because I don't know what is
I don't think we
allowed
can.
to talk about. So I'm just not going to say anything, but like, man, that dude is a entrepreneur for sure.
And
Very
so this
excited
is we
hearing
can
about that.
legitimately say, and we can say this: if Clementine's is cheap right now, you should highly consider getting them cheap because this is why this show is what we're about. You can flip and degen all you want and make money that way. But the other way to make money is support the people that are actually building businesses and doing the right thing.
Yes.
Norman Clementines and Stargirl and Kevin and all of them are one of them. I promise you that. And that is something that I will 100% back. They're the real
Yeah.
deal, and they're
Real
making some
deal.
shit happen.
Yeah, and on top of that, I mean, just getting a chance to talk to Norm about his whole history. I already knew. I mean, because remember, he was on the show. I mean, we knew a little bit about his history, but man, him breaking it down, and we're like sitting there. I'm looking on Google. I'm like, dude, this guy is a stud. And
Yeah.
so that was really cool because then when we got to talking about the future of NFTs, where things are going, he said some very insightful things. And one of the things that I took from that was he has gone through and experienced and
Those
he
was a great
lived
combo.
through the dot-com boom, right? And so why is that important? Because when Web 2 exploded the way Web 3 is, and honestly Web 3 has not exploded yet the way we're talking about. And if you remember, do you guys remember when like every Super Bowl commercial was some .com? I'm talking about that heyday of like the Web 2.com era where it was like a gold rush to hurry up and get something.com and get it out there, and everybody was making the money was flowing everywhere. It was so easy to get investors. And what he was talking about is what it was like there and being involved in that arena, and how similar it was to what he sees now and what's going on with crypto, NFTs, and Web3. And he said, listen, man, the bottom line is 95% of the people you see here are going to be gone. They're not going to make it through this. And what was fascinating was listening to him talk about what the 5% who made it did, why that worked, and how he had successfully done that through that, and how he was applying it to what he's doing now in Web 3. And again, I don't want to say more than that. That's
Yeah, but
for
how about you
shared
give
vision.
us some principles of what he was
But
saying
some of
that
the
made
principles though.
people's were successful to get through something like that?
So the main takeaway was understanding that you have to have a real business infrastructure behind whatever it is that's happening, and how having that real structure will always long term build real influence, but it takes time, right? This is like the proverbial like building, your house on the sand versus building it on the rock, right? Or whatever, building the house with brick versus sticks versus a straw, right? The idea
Mm-hmm.
is that it may take you more time up front, and people may laugh at you while that's happening, but
Mm-hmm.
when the wind blows, you're glad you built it on the rock, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that takes time. And what was cool is he knows how to do that, and he's putting it together right now. And so that was just a really, really great conversation. That was
Mm-hmm.
my top takeaway. What was yours, Mike?
I would say the same thing, but I also would say here is where we preach experience again, right? Because the other thing that he said that was really impactful was down to the guys. I was at this identical party, like same
Yeah.
exact type of party in New York, at a high rise, at a hotel, with live DJ, 15 years ago, and same age demo too. And this goes back to the age experience thing that I say is there is nothing wrong with being in your 20s. Morgan Stone's probably one of the outliers that will get through it with any crazy, but he's still going to hit adversity. And
Yeah.
95% of the people at that hate party were there to get shit faced and nothing else. And they were thinking about how much money they have made and where they are at now. But they're going to have a rude awakening, if not had already, and especially in the next 6 months, where all the money is gone. And then what do you do? Because you've just built a PFP project that's empty, or surrounded by a bunch of people that don't know how to react when failure occurs. So it was just really interesting to hear someone that has actually been through that preaching the same exact stuff that Maddie and I do all the time.
Yeah, 100%. And the flip side of that was some of those people that were just getting like blackout drunk, were people who, and again, no names involved, but I was shocked at some of the people who are in very esteemed places, positions, and roles throughout the NFT space,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to see a little bit kind of behind the curtain and view Oz and say, okay, these people might present themselves well on Discord or on Twitter, but certain habits are very when you meet somebody in person, certain things bleed through very quickly. And so I just thought that was interesting. So anyway, fascinating time, ton of fun. Just awesome getting to see everybody. It was
Mm-hmm.
great. We spent a lot of time, like I said, with Bonji, Silos, Kurt, Coochie Gucci, uh, which was fantastic, and it was great just getting rounds of drinks and having a good time. That
Yeah,
was
and
yeah that was
so
that
I
night.
will say another thing. One of the things that is still sticks in my mind, and I think Silos and Bonji, you have made more of an impact than you think, because etched in my memory forever will be when we were having beers and you were explaining that you
Yeah,
love listening to our show live, and you're like nonchalantly putting in the earbuds so you can listen to us and type on your phone and not wake your wives up. Like that was I think that was like, it was just one of those aha moments for me, like
yeah,
holy
that was an
shit, like we're
epiphany. That was
doing
an epiphany
something
for
that
Mike.
people really enjoy. And it was just a very surreal experience. So we appreciate you all so much, man.
Yeah, it was such a good time. Solid dudes.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we get back, and well, first of all, we leave that party, we get out there, and that's actually when I met Micah for the first time, because he was down at the bottom of like the after you leave. You know what I'm talking about? We were waiting. I think he was. They were. Oh, that's what it was. His phone was dead, and he was like, "Can I
Oh,
use your
that's right.
phone to get a lift?" And you were like, "Sure." And so while that was happening, we were kind of having that whole conversation. And that's when he was telling us about the hate party the next day at Times Square. And we were saying how we were going to be going to the Rue Troop
Mm-hmm.
Llama Sappy Seals party.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was kind of cool because that's how that event got set up.
Mm-hmm.
We crash. I knew that night I was going to wake up feeling I got run over by a truck. 100%. That's how it was. We woke up, we groaned for like 20 minutes, and then, like old men, got up, got ready, head back over to what did we do that morning? Did we go back over to
Mm.
the show, Mike? Yes, we did. That was the morning. Then we went around, and Mike was with me, and that's when we talked to
All of the
Mattel.
people.
Yeah, Ledger, Tops, who does
Uh-huh.
like the baseball cards and comic strip cards.
Yeah, that's Maddie and I's upbringing.
Yes, for sure. Yep. We talked to the Hot Wheels folks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so we kind of hit that like whole top floor where that was some of the more the bigger names. We talked to OpenSea, and we
Mm-hmm.
got a contact from OpenSea because I said, listen, we'd like to have them on the show, just to
Mm-hmm.
have kind of their perspective. And yes, so Dirty Dan is chiming in. So then we're going back over, and Mike is like, so this is a classic Mike moment, right? He drank a ton at the hate party,
I
and he
did.
wakes up, he's like,
Whoa, whoa,
bro,
whoa, whoa,
dude,
whoa, whoa.
I,
Hold,
I,
please.
hold,
Let's rewind. I might have had a glass of bourbon in my hand the entire night, but I was not toasted at all. I promise you that. I did not get really drunk.
okay, well, let me just say this. You woke up and said, there's no way I'm drinking alcohol.
Yes,
Absolutely not.
I
I am
did say
not
that.
going to drink any alcohol.
Because look, wait, I'm
As
gonna
we're
put
walking
hold
by,
on. I'm putting the YouTube video in there, and that is me describing how horrible I felt after the hate party we just described. And I
okay,
followed
there it
that
is.
by
You can
saying,
click on that,
there's
and that
no way
will.
I'm drinking today.
Yes. So he's like, bro, I'm not drinking today. Literally, the first thing we do as we get out of the elevator and start walking around, he passes. They have these like little, I don't know, table
They had
setups where there's like
drink
bartenders,
stations.
like little drink stations, and Mike immediately double fists a water and a what was the drink? What drink did you get?
I got a water
It was
and
like a White Claw or something.
and a White
It was like
Claw.
some seltzer.
It was like
Yeah.
it was like 11 a.m. No, actually, this was the true. I get to the drink station, and there's a guy ordering a craft beer. And I did. I got like a Diet Pepsi and a water, and I go, look at that guy drinking before noon. He's crazy. And then we did like one loop, and I came
Yes,
back.
that's
I went to
right.
the same bartender, and I go, can I get a water and a White Claw, please? And, and I just followed it up by, sometimes it's just the hair of the dog moment.
Yes, I totally forgot that you dogged on that guy for drinking. And within
I
5
totally
minutes, within
destroyed this
5
dude.
minutes, you were drinking alcohol. So
Oh
anyway,
my god, it was fantastic.
real serious morning.
Dude, that bartender, she got a kick out of me, I'll tell you
She
that
loved
much.
that. And literally, we turned around. There's Ledger, and that is where Dirty Dan was.
And that was where it all fell apart. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was awesome. So I had been texting Dirty Dan the entire time, like, when are we going to meet up? And then, yeah, Dirty Dan hit us up, and she's like, Mikey, as we were talking to the Ledger people, we hugged it out. We met her boyfriend. We caught up for a good solid 30 minutes at least. I had to sit down. I was drinking my White Claw. My feet hurt. My entire body hurt. I was just spread out,
good.
making sure no one would sit next to me. And
so
yeah, we had a good time. And that's just another, I just cannot hammer home enough. When Maddie and I started all of this, we knew there would be the day when we started meeting people like from our community and people that
Yeah.
we have impacted and helped out, and it's happening, and it feels better than I ever could imagine. And that is literally what drives me to wake up every day and somehow balance my regular life, my full-time job. Does not feel like a full-time job, but creating content for you and making sure that we grow this thing because we're not stopping.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
and yes, I'm sorry.
and
So
so tell your Dirty Dan story because you had a
yeah,
perception of Dirty Dan yourself.
100%. So, you see screen names, and I kept seeing Dirty Dan, and Mike was talking Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan, Dirty Dan. Well, I don't know. In my head, I just assumed Dirty Daniel, like a guy. So I'm sitting there this whole time, like, all right, who's Dirty Dan? Who is this? And then at one point, Mike mentioned it was literally at least a month, month and a half, maybe even 2 months in. You said her, and in my brain, I was like, oh, he must have messed up the her because Dirty Dan's a guy. And the whole time, finally, he's like, no, it's not. Dirty Dan's a she. And I was like, oh shit. So this whole time I've been like and not that I had a ton of interaction, but it was just like I just had no idea who. Just like you don't know who you're talking to. And then yes, we sit there. We're at Ledger, and I'm like, nope, just beautiful young woman. Here she is, and she's here. And I'm thinking, well, that was the first thing. That was my first sentence. I was like, Dirty Dan, I have a confession. I thought you were a dude for like 2 months. I'm sorry. She took it really good. She was super nice about it, so I apprecited that. But
No,
yeah, that was my big.
Dirty Dan and her boyfriend couldn't be nicer. Like they're just super cool peeps. And did they go to the Morgan Stone party?
Yes, they did. That's that's where I met up with them. And by the way, 100%, I'm just gonna say it. If I was COVID positive then, Dirty Dan, I apologize. That might have been me that got you sick. And anyone else that was there that I got sick.
I think I was
Mike
good
wasn't-
because I had not had my food poisoning yet. I was pretty rock solid at that point. I just was
No.
hurting painfully.
you were not at that party because you had food poisoning.
But I had not eaten the burger yet. I was very good at that point. I was feeling real nice.
Oh, during the day,
Yeah.
yes, when we first met.
Mhm,
Okay.
mhm.
No, you said the Morgan Stone
No,
party.
I said when I first met Dirty Dan,
Yeah. You were good then.
Other than my knees
Not so
hurting
much
and
after
being
that.
40 years old and every bone in my body aching because we had walked 400 miles around the city
Yeah.
and stayed up till 3 a.m. and I was proceeding to try to wash it away with a White Claw that wasn't working too well. Um, I was good. I was all right. And so then we get to and we don't have to go into much detail. You just, if you want to hear my second by second detailed breakdown by Maddie J of my food poisoning incident, tune into our Patrick stream. Matt did
Yes.
a
We'll put that.
very, very good job vividly depicting the pain, excruciating pain I went through because I think I ate a slightly undercooked smash burger.
Yeah. Whatever happened, something happened. You were not happy about it,
And
and
so, so
yeah.
the quick version is we go. So me, Dirty Dan, think we do a little more walking around. Took some B-roll again. Talked to Ray today. He's gonna do up a nice little NFT NYC recap thing, even if it's a little late because we have so much good footage. We just got to figure out how to get the media appropriately up there. So we did some like B-roll. We walked around, and then we go home. And we're like, dude, we have to take like an hour and a half nap. We do that. Matt's getting ready. I'm amped. I'm ready to go. And then there's a little slight pain in the back kidney. And I lay down. And when I lay down, I'm telling you, within seconds, it went from here to like 1,000 in pain. And then Maddie's like, bro, like what's going on? And I just was like, dude, I can't. There's no way I can go because it just kept on getting, it kept on getting bigger. And again, I will put the I will put the smash burger video. But at first, I was kind of like moaning jokingly. But it turned into actual real pain. And then before Matt left, I was projectile vomiting already, and it just lasted for another 6 hours.
But let's just rewind what you didn't hear from the first Smash Burger story from
Uh-oh.
the Patrick stream was now, if you've been listening since the beginning of this conversation, you have the context of the dimensions of the bathroom that Mike had to suffer in. This dude, 100%, you could be throwing up and you could still be outside of the bathroom and be leaning in at that tiny little toilet against the wall. That's how tiny this bathroom was. So I will say, when you were throwing up, I was like, how is he doing this? You know, like the normal in front of the toilet position most people would if you're going to throw up. You know what I mean? You could not do that. There was no room at all to be able to, because they had that little like shelf thing. So I actually don't know how you pulled it off because,
Well,
you know,
so I'll
sorry,
tell
man.
you this, and then we'll go to the next day. Or well, you can talk about going to Morgan's thing, and so a couple more things. Stargirl in chat, she is like the mom I never had. She absolutely can tell that she has kids. She
100%.
immediately made Matt search for where I could get a ginger shot. Dave
No, she
also.
searched and gave
Oh,
me all of the
she
spots.
searched
I
and
literally
gave
did no
Matt
work.
all of the
She was like, she
information.
said, go to this address here and get these, and send a picture of exactly what I had to get.
Yeah.
It was
And
amazing.
so he did that, but he also then decided to the guy who does have a kid, but he's a dude. His name is Bo Agrius. He's our other childhood friend. You see him often in our Discord. His advice was for me to take a 10 milligram edible, which I did because I thought it would be. At that point, I was in so much pain. So now I'm 2 ginger shots deep and a weed gummy deep because I thought the weed gummy and CBD was going to help ease the pain. Well,
All right.
listen.
Isn't that a thing though? But to be fair, is that not a fair as a I'm not a weed expert, right? I tried
Probably
to get a
wasn't a
hold of
smart
I tried
idea.
to get a hold of God. He didn't answer. Isn't it true though? Isn't that supposed to help with nausea and like pain? Isn't that like why like cancer patients are getting like? Isn't that the reason people get it medically prescribed?
Right, but I think it's more on the CBD side. I just took a straight up THC gummy, so it was getting high. But it doesn't listen. It's all a moot point because I immediately violently vomited everything out. So it didn't like nothing was in my body for too long. And so this is the last thing that I did. Star saved it with ginger shots. I ate a weed gummy to try to ease the pain. I puked all of it up, and then I for and I still don't understand this, but for some odd reason, the only thing that felt good would would I was in. Well, another thing is the last note that the oh shit, the Airbnb guy said is, hey, if the water doesn't get warm, just let it run for 5 minutes and it should get warm. So I shit you not, all night. Matt walked when he got in. He had to be, again, Mikey G Pinata disaster. All the towels are wet. The floor's soaking wet because I, for 6 hours, was vomiting, and then I didn't have enough energy to like clean a ton of stuff up. So I'm just like I'm wiping things up with a towel, and then I'm going into the shower, running hot water on my back, and I'm propping myself up on all fours and just in the middle of the tub with hot water, just smashing my back. And that was the only thing that felt good. So I went from sitting on all fours in the shower, water on my back, to vomiting. And then I went back and forth for about a 4 hour
Oh,
period. And
bro,
so when I
that's
finally
awful.
got to the bed, I was like, Maddie, you need to come home and I need something. And so, but between while I was doing that, what were you doing, Maddie?
Okay, so while Mike was fighting his good fight, I said I'm gonna go to the Root Troop Llama Sappy Seals party, right? And we had tickets, so there was up on the phone. Everything was fine there. And classic New York, you go on Google Maps, you're like, how far is this? And it said it was like a third of a mile. Or no, it was like 3/4 of a mile. And I'm thinking, "Psh, that's not that bad. I could walk that." So I start doing that. Everything was cool until it started raining. That kind of sucked. Um, but I get there and I'm walking through kind of a little seedier area because I remember like hate party, pretty chill, upward, everything's well lit. This area, I'm like, okay, solid chance somebody's going to get shanked. To be clear, I would be doing the shanking, but still, it was a little dicey.
100%.
So, so I get to the party, get in line, meet some people there. They let us in, and the clue I knew, I was like, this is a different area of town, is they are patting everybody down hard. They're like doing the full pat down. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. What kind of, what's this going to be like? But then it actually just turned out the event was fine. I just think it was just the location that was like that. And so anyway, get up there. I go in there. It was actually perfect timing because that was right as Morgan had started doing his set as a DJ. And so that was great because I actually snuck like right up to the front and was able to get some good video of that, which was fun. But then they had a whole VIP section in the back, and I was a little bummed because the only way you could get there was you had to pay for bottle service. And I was like, well, there's a 1,000% chance that's not happening. And I was kind of bummed by that because I was like, that's where I wanted to meet certain people, but no big deal. So I'm hanging out there. Couple of the llama crew comes in, make some friends there. I meet this other dude who's working. He does collabs with llama, and so got his Twitter info, hanging out. Dirty Dan shows up. We're talking for a little bit. It's probably where she got COVID. I'm sorry. And
Mm-hmm.
at this point, we're on the second DJ, and each like progressive DJ, they're turning the volume up.
Mm.
And now you can't just have a conversation. You got to like scream in people's faces, which probably didn't help the COVID spreading.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, so now music's a little bit louder. And also this was not an open bar. So fine, not a big deal. Didn't care about it. Wasn't super excited about $6 for a cup of water, but what are you going to do? New York. So we're going through there, and as I'm doing that, I'm like, man, I wonder if Mikey's like alive. So I send you a text like, hey man, how you holding up, bro? And I think your first response was seriously just like, not good. And that was it. And I'm thinking, ooh, dicey. Well, anyway, and I just kept talking to people. And then who was the other person I saw there? I'm trying to think. He was with
Uh,
Morgan introduced me to him. Anyway, it was right up by the
the
front part of the
sappy
stage.
seal guy.
Maybe there were a couple people dressed up in Sappy Seal outfits, so I got some video of that. But then we're hanging out, and that's when I feel my phone go off, and it was Mikey saying, "Bro, I need medicine." He's like, "I need medicine," and so I was like, you know, I did want to stay longer because I didn't get to see like the main event DJ, which was the reason to go. Um, but I was like, my boy needs me. Mikey needs the medicine.
Oh,
And so that's when I went to go get all the stuff that Star had proposed that I get to help with you to help with everything. So went around to CVS and that one weird place. That's where I got the ginger shots. Showed up with the whole care kit, and
saved my life.
that was
Because
that was what had to
that's
happen.
when the puking stopped and the stomach pains are really started kicking in, and that was basically like, Matt, I need gas sacks ASAP or else I am gonna die because it feels like my intestines are gonna explode. And that's
Uh,
that once I got that medicine in me, I didn't sleep, and so and this is where I think the COVID really started setting in.
Probably.
Because now we're
Probably.
winding to Thursday, right? We're running
Yep.
on maybe
Thursday.
8 hours of sleep at this point. Thursday, I'm already dog tired from a week long vacation where I did a road trip from San Diego to Phoenix to Sedona to the Grand Canyon to Lake Havasu back to San Diego, all in like 4 or 5 days. So I'm tired to begin with, and now I'm going 4 days hard, and then we we proceed to wake up again in Mikey G fashion. What did we do that morning, Maddie?
So the whole point of that morning was we wanted to meet up with your buddy who you worked
Mm-hmm.
with, Geico, who
Yeah.
put together some of the commercials. And he has his own business now in Manhattan and putting up, I think, like visual effects and things like that, putting those things together.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to meet up, and because we want to see if we can maybe collaborate, put a little something together to be continued. We'll
Mm-hmm.
let you know more about how that's going to go.
Right.
But you had worked them, you wanted to meet up with them, so we're like,
Yeah.
let's
So
go
real
get.
real quick, this guy, like, this dude's a wizard. He and this, you want to talk about coming full circle. He worked at Frame Store where Digimental worked for and got his name as a 3D artist. They worked together in London. He came to New York as the head principal to start the Frame Store New York office, and he's the one that made the gecko. So he would make all of the 3D renders. We would go shoot stills and frames. So, like, let's say I wanted to shoot a TV commercial. One of the ones I remember, we went to like Tennessee or something, and there's like a town where the line between Tennessee and Georgia or some other state, or I don't even know what lines up to Tennessee, the gecko's jumping back and forth. So you go there, you shoot all of the practical stuff, and we had literally like a Godzilla. The gecko was the size of a toy Godzilla. And when you put that in the frame, to practically say like, hey, how should we like frame the frame? So this guy Dave, he ran the store, and then he would take the frames back and then fill the gecko into everything. So that's the guy that we were meeting. Dude's insanely talented, and he started his own virtual effects company. So I said, we need to go there to pitch him. Well, one, just catch up. He's a great buddy. Like, I mean, this guy, one of the most talented guys ever. from London has an accent, but most down to earth. Like me and him were chasing Bulbasaurs when Pokemon Go came out, like down our hotel lobby. Like that's the guy. Like if you read this guy's resume, like he made all of the Harry Potter films. He has every reason to say like I'm pretty much better and more successful than ever you in the room. But this son of a bitch will drink a Coors Light and play Pokemon Go with you. Like just super cool, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude.
So
And
that's
yes,
what
by
we were
the
doing.
way,
We went to his
Dirty
shop.
Dan, the iced tea, it's lemonade commercial. Yes, that was
I made
one of
that, Dirty Dan. I met Ice T and Coco. That's another story that I will play. We played a prank on our producer on the Ice T commercial. But I'll tell that. I can do like a Geico production outtakes YouTube video.
Yeah, we'll do that. But yes, that actually like you made that commercial, which is kind of crazy because
Yeah, I
a
met
lot of
Ice T.
people, Yep. So, but anyway, yeah. So we meet up, and Mike had just. I mean, you just heard what happened. I mean, he's gone through his whole night thinking he's going to die, thinking he
This
has a
is the
kidney
next
stone.
morning, by the
vomiting
way,
everywhere.
folks.
Literally the next morning, we're walking to this place, and as he's walking, he's like, "I just need water, bro. I just need water." I'm thinking, what are we gonna eat that Mike can have right now? Like something easy on the stomach. So of course, right next to where this guy is this was it a ramen place, right? It was a ramen place.
Dude, this
But
ramen place looked killer. But of
he,
course, Maddie is not a ramen
well,
guy.
well, for several reasons. One, you noticed it had a Michelin star, and you were like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
I would
Right?
have 100% eaten lunch there.
Yes. But then your buddy was talking about it. He's like, "Yeah, just so you know, it's like really, really spicy." And that's when I was like, "No way, not gonna happen." Because pepperoni pizza is as spicy as I get.
You're
So,
not going to eat at a ramen bar whether it's spicy or not. You're not going to do ramen.
listen, give me the benefit of the doubt. I might have tried it because it was a Michelin star, but when he said spicy, that was out. So we go down and we're looking for a place to eat right by Keen's. This is right by Keen's, which if you haven't heard about Keen's, Keen's is one of the oldest restaurants in New York City, one of the oldest restaurants in America. And it was a former clay pipe club, but it was cool because I showed Mikey inside and you got to see all
Pretty
like the
wild.
pipes, Eisenhower and Albert Einstein and presidents and things like that. So anyway, it's kind of cool. But so we go by and we see this really cool sandwich place. But what was the deal? Was it just crowded or was it like a
It
wait?
was smashed.
Yeah, it was just
Line
crazy.
out the door. And we're like,
So
we're not waiting.
yeah, so they're like, we know another place, but they didn't want to go there because you ready for this? Their their number one item on the menu is a smash burger. Not smash burger the restaurant, but like that is the burger that is their famous thing.
I just
And he was
licked the
like, well,
Keen's Steakhouse.
so he was like, I didn't think that would be something you'd want to see, Mike. And Mike's like,
Appropriate.
whatever. I'll go in there. Let's go. Let's do it.
I was
So we go in
hungry at this
there.
point, and I was really searching for a salad.
So Mikey's searching for a salad. Okay. We get in there and I'm looking at this total pub food. And how many beers they have? They had like 40 beers on
They
tap
had
or
like
some crazy
40,
amount.
50 beers on tap, like craft beers. And as anybody that knows me intimately, I'm a sucker for good craft beer.
Yes. And I don't even think they need to know you intimately because you're pretty clear about your love for craft beer.
Yeah.
So here he is the day after food poisoning, hours before he's in the shower going back and forth, vomiting, shower, vomiting, shower. Hours before. And now he's looking for a salad. And within 10 seconds, he orders a craft beer and then orders a grilled cheese. But I want you to hear this. It's not on regular bread. It's a glazed donut that is deep fried with mozzarella cheese melted in between. And then it's put on this hook suspended above sideways above a tub of tomato soup. And the mozzarella cheese is literally moltenly oozing into the soup.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what Mike thought would be an
Mm-hmm.
appropriate first meal after getting food poisoning
Yep.
was a glazed donut, grilled cheese with mozzarella and tomato soup, and a craft beer.
Yep. Yep.
So,
And that's what I got, and it was phenomenal.
I mean, how could it not be, right? But yes. And I remember too because Star, while we were there, Star again, being a mom, taking care of us, being amazing, is checking in. She's like, "Is Mikey okay? How's he feeling?" And I said, "He had the second ginger shot. He's actually kind of coming out of it. He seems like he's doing pretty well. He's hydrating." She's like, "Oh, that's good." Next follow up, how's Mikey doing? I literally sent her a picture of him eating this donut thing, and she was just shaking her head. She's
Right.
like, "Man, I can't. That's too much." So, is
Yep.
what it is. Um,
I think I blew her mind that I was shoveling that son of a bitch down my throat immediately. And I didn't have one. I had two craft beers, and they were both
yes.
very delicious.
Yes. And so yeah, so we had a great time networking there. More to be on, we'll see. We'll kind of follow up on what happens there, but I think that could be a really cool contact
Yeah.
because I think he's interested. He
Yeah.
seemed interested.
I
So,
piqued his interest once I started telling him the stupid money that's getting played around. Because, like, that these guys are so talented. I would tell you what, even what Hape did. Um, or Hape was pretty good, but any of these middle of the road 3D projects, these guys could do this shit in their sleep. I mean, they could do it in a day or two easily. So they could do some pretty insane stuff. It's now just thinking about what's the most effective way to do it, because I'm still a firm believer I do not want to launch a full NFT project. I just have no desire to do that. But
but we'll see
yeah,
where things go and how
we'll
it
see what
evolves. But
happens. What we can work with them. Great conversation about NFTs. They're interested, and his business partners interested as well. So we did start a Discord group chat that I have yet to interact with because we got super sick. But I'm definitely going to link back up with them this week.
yes. So then we had to go move our stuff to a different hotel. While we were doing that, we met up with Howler, which was
Oh,
super
we
fun.
did meet Howler. I totally forgot
Yep.
about that.
Yep, that was really cool. So we hung out, talked to Howler. He is just as busy as you would think he is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just like
Mm-hmm.
living, just absolutely in a very successful attorney and
Yep.
also in the NFT business and
Yep.
just constant phone, things going on. So it was great actually talking with him and kind of hearing where things are going, what he's excited about, what kind of partnerships are in the mix. And so that was really cool. Awesome dude.
And
We
connections matter because that. So who's coming on Tuesday is Howler met us, introduced us to the Metatope guys, who are unbelievably smart and couldn't be more of a more genuine, cool dudes, and to the point where I think people are liking our vibe and what we're doing so much. They're already racking their brains about like how can we just give our community more privileges than a simple pre-sale spot. So I think we got some fun, interesting stuff for the midlife community with Metatope coming out. So pretty excited.
and we caught back up with Howler at the PXN party, but we'll get to that there in
Right.
just a bit. But yeah, in terms of so then he walked with us because he had somewhere he had to go. He had like a really short window of time. So we were like, well, if he was walking the same direction, we're like, let's just walk this way together. And that's when we went to the Mutant Shiba Club
Oh
event.
yeah.
It went over there, and that was kind of cool too because we weren't planning on that, and it was really cool because when we got there, whenever you went to all these things, they always had like a list or somebody with like the rope there, like who can get in, who can't get in on these private events, and it just worked out. Mike's walking up the road, and was it Brandon? Is that his name? What's the
No, so I've been texting with him the whole time. So
got it?
OGs from Hape started Mutant Sheba, was Barry, Lord
Barry. Thank
Slabs,
you.
and
Lord
I
Slabs. I
forget
love
the
that.
third guy's name. So I've been texting Barry because Barry lived near Sacramento. We actually were trying to play golf in real life when I was back in Hape, but then he started Mutant Sheba and he got really busy. And so Barry is actually the artist for Mutant Sheba. So we have always kept in touch. He was texting me. He was like, dude, you should stop by. And I was like, oh, I have the PXN thing. But he's like, our party's from 1 to 7. And I was like, perfect. That works out great. So we'll stop by. And Barry, literally, I was like, dude, what about the list? And he's like, don't worry about it. Text me when you get there. And I texted him. Dude came out and like opened the red carpet for us and let us in personally.
Yeah, that
Barry
was really cool.
couldn't be a nicer dude. Like,
And
tall,
hooked you up with some
skinny,
swag, man.
bearded, gave us swag bags, gave us the whole 9,
Yep.
gave us drinks right away. We hammed it up and talked. He's going to come on the show at some point too. I just got to link back up with him. So we'll have the Mutant Sheba guys. We met Lord Slabs, who I had met too. Younger, super cool dude. And yeah, so we hung out there, and that's when who else? So talk about the entrance and hanging out there.
Yeah, so that was cool. You also got your first fanny pack there.
I got a fanny pack. I got a Mutant Sheba fanny pack that I probably don't know where it is.
I have it. You left it here. So
son of a bitch.
It's all right. I'm already, guys. I already said Mike's a pinata. I knew it was going to happen. I got a whole little.
I left like 3 hats.
At my place, so I'll just mail all that over. But then he will have because he's going to wear it on stream.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those cool ones that goes like diagonal. I don't know. Anyway,
I was really excited about it.
You were very excited about it, yeah. And then I was like, "What the heck is in this?" And the shirt is also in there. So your Mutant Sheba shirt.
Son of a bitch! My Mutant Sheba Club shirt. And my fanny pack.
Yeah. So I have mine, but yeah. But so
anyway, MLC fanny packs coming for sure.
Incoming. But so we go in there, and that was cool because reconnected with the guy that we had talked about, Mike.
Mike,
who has
this guy's. You want to talk about a dude that has a resume? Bro.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
So what does he hold? Does he hold the world record for the what world record does he hold?
Most insects tattooed on him.
He holds the world record for the most insects tattooed. This motherfucker has face tattoos, and you want to talk? Yeah. You want to talk about an intimidating human to talk to? We met him at the hate party, and I was like, "Whoa, who is this dude all about?" Again, couldn't fucking be nicer. And then he starts talking about his past. Nice. This motherfucker is
serial entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur.
Extremely successful, and just goes back to never judge a book by its cover. And we did, by the way. I mean,
we don't judge, bro. We hang. Is what we do.
I met him. The reason I started talking to him at the hate party was because of his tattoos, and we just started talking about tattoos. And so then it's like I didn't know who I was talking to. He didn't know who he was talking to. But then we, turns out solid, awesome guy. Super nice.
CeeLo says he looks scary.
CeeLo's. All right, I will vouch. I mean, I'll put it to you this way: he could have played a role in like Sons of Anarchy, hands down. Right. He had that vibe, no question. But anyway, super nice guy, very successful. Reconnected with him at the Mutant Sheba party. They had some food and some snacks. Mike's freaking immediate eating food there.
That's probably when I got COVID. I ate community hummus dip that had been sitting out all day. That's probably when I got the vid for sure.
They had a tray that had been sitting out under a heat lamp for hours, and Mike just crunching through that dip. I was like, absolutely not. But so we hung out there. We saw Alien. We saw Standby from Trap Monkey. I don't know. I cannot remember her name. But anyway, met them.
Alien
and then
I just know Alien.
So and then Mike was talking with Barry, and Barry was like, "Hey, you need to come back at this time because there's going to be a special guest." And so we were like, "Cool, let's go real quick." What do we do? that might have been actually when we went back to do the hotel stuff. But
We went back to
came
do the
back,
hotel stuff.
yeah, and then saw. So we get back there,
Sinister.
and
It
there's
was
like,
hummus dip.
yeah, hummus dip, yeah, a little dicey.
Yeah.
Not the kind of thing, not the kind of thing you do in a social setting. But anyway, we get back. Busta Rhymes comes out, performs a little set. That was actually really cool, simply because we're old and it's Busta Rhymes. But
Busta
that was
Rhymes.
cool
Which, but
because
wait. One thing about the Busta Rhymes situation, and this is what I don't understand. Very great guy. Mutant Sheba, they made some money. But I don't know how. They probably paid him 50 grand. Dude sang 3 songs.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, obviously he was paid, but and how
Oh, I
much he
guarantee
knows.
you they paid him at
But
least 50 grand.
still, hey, whatever, man. Worked for us. Got some great video.
Mm-mm.
Kurt came back out for that, so we saw him.
We
That was the
did
first time
see
he
Kurt.
resurfaced.
We
He'd
did see
resurfaced.
Kurt. He came back. He was alive.
Yep, he was, and dude, but he was ready to party again. He's like, man, I knew what it was. He's like, I just needed some Adderall. So apparently now he was ready to rock, and that's all he needed. So yeah, saw Busta Rhymes, and then we were thinking, okay, we have the PXN event tonight. At this point, we're in pain. Every step we take, I didn't know what was going to shatter my tibia, my patella, my femur. Something was going down,
Guys.
and so
If we could just if we could have given you how our bodies felt at that moment in time, most of you probably would have got in a car and immediately gone to the hospital, but we didn't.
we probably should have.
It was
But
tough.
so what we kept doing is like we'll just try to get like a little power nap in, and it never worked because we would just laugh the whole time. That was the
so much
overall theme. I
fun.
will say, just dude, hanging out with Mikey, we just laugh a lot. We have a lot of fun, a lot of jokes. Everything we're doing, whether we're coughing or doing whatever, we're sitting there and constantly laughing. So we 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 we, we decide, okay, we're gonna go for this PXN party, and we need to get something to eat. So we're walking. We find some little pub place. Mike gets the shepherd pie. I got the freaking chicken pot pie, man, and that was some good, like that was some good home cooking food. That was like comfort food, which probably wasn't a good idea to then try to pull an all-nighter because the itis hit real hard. That's for sure.
I actually have a video of us sitting at dinner doing
yeah,
a little
at this
update.
point, our voices are like an octave lower.
Yeah.
We go into this place. We both order hot tea with
put the
lemon
video there.
and honey. So we're just like, we're trying to keep our voice. There it is. Kurt's back from drinking. Yeah,
Kurt's back from drinking.
Time.
Click on that
Kurt,
link right there, and you can see how haggard I look, how my voice is totally fucked, and Matt's drinking hot tea.
We're drinking hot tea. It was dicey.
He doesn't look good. You look like you're in pain. Oh,
I
God.
was in pain. That's the thing. I was in pain.
Dude,
and so
can
you want to see that?
Please click on that link and pay attention to when I spin the camera around on Matt's face, and the first second of his look tells the whole story. Like that just describes the whole story.
Yeah, that was it. We were at a breaking point.
We were at a breaking point. Yeah.
We were like, listen, we got this hotel for one more night. We're here. We got to do this. Like, this is what we're here for. We're going to do it.
Which, by the way, we thoroughly debated just leaving that night. But we decided we got to go to the Phantom Network party. We're here. We got to take advantage of it. We felt like we're going to die. So we got a hotel room for an extra night. And yeah, go ahead. Take it away, Maddie.
So we walked there, took forever. We're going past
so long.
What is it? Madison Square Gardens? Is that where we went past? A couple seedy areas though. I was like, whoa, man. And but we get to where the PXN party is. We wait in the first line. Wait there for a while. And they're like, oh, no, no, no. This is for the people with tickets. If you're on the list, you have to go to another line. So we get out and we get in that line. And right as we're getting in that line, the whole Hape crew shows up. So we're in line now with the whole Hape crew. So that worked out perfect because now we're sitting there, we're talking with them, we're waiting in line. And then when we get up to the list, this was kind of cool. So everybody's going in, they're getting in, they're on the list. And Mikey goes up and he's like, hey, Mikey G, or I might be under my full name, but he's like, look up for Mike. And I said, yeah, Matt might be Matty Mins and whatnot. And they're looking and they're like, oh, we can't find your name on the list. And now I'm like, oh, well, that'll suck, man. We just did this whole thing, got an extra hotel room, all this stuff, and we can't even get into this thing. And the lady that was next to the guy with the list was like, wait, are you guys Midlife Crisis? And Mike was like, yeah, Midlife Crisis. And he's like, oh. She's like, I saw you guys. I saw you got your all show. And then it's right after she said that, she looked at the guy with the list, like the bouncer person, and was like, they're cool. They can go in. So that was like our first, I felt like, moment where because we actually had somebody on the show, it was like a tangible value.
She immediately goes, you're the guys that interviewed Dex. I was like, yes, absolutely. We are apparently not on the list. And she's like, these guys are good. Midlife awesome. Crisis credentials paying off, baby.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So right as we walk in, because they had this like little, I don't even know, almost like a foyer kind of thing. It was weird because then you open up 2 other doors and like then you're in this club. And so when we got in there, right as we walked in, Dex is right there immediately. And he's like, here you go. And he handed us these bad boys. Loving it. And we get to talking. Now, if you didn't know, Dex was sick, like regular sick, during that whole week from before. So he was kind of radio silent.
He got the vid too.
Dude, but you could tell even that night, like
he was not feeling good.
He was not 100%.
And it was not
like he was just kind of trudging through on like just powering through with Advil and Dayquil. You know what I mean?
He wasn't good.
So he's there. We get some pictures with him. We talk with him. Reconnect with Howler there. Reconnect with the Hate people were in there. The Clementines people were in there, and so we're all hanging out. That was where I'm trying to think. That was the night that was the most number of times where somebody randomly, at least for me, was like, "Oh my gosh, I've seen your show." That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
because a lot of people had seen it. Coochie was there.
Coochie was there again. Yep. Kev Dog was there. Howler was there. The whole Hape crew. And so this was another like aha moment. No clue who this dude was. Walking up to get to the bar. By the way, Maddie and I behaved that night. We drank ginger ale all night, and it was fantastic. It was the best decision of my life. The ginger ale was feeling real nice on the throat. I could tell at that point I was starting to go downhill, and I was like getting a little nasally and got a little post-nasal throat drip thing going on. I'm like, this ain't good. And so I'm just, Maddie and I just siphoning, 2 ginger ales down all night. But I'm going up to the bar to get my ginger ale. And some dude taps me on the shoulder and he's like, you're Mikey G. And I was like, yeah, I am, man. He's like, I watch your stream. And I was like, I don't even remember the guy's name. Can't even remember it. But it was really cool. He picked me out of the crowd and he was like, dude, really cool stream. Love watching you guys. Keep on doing what you're doing. And I was like, that's really freaking cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. It was a lot of fun. And so got to meet a lot of people there. Again, it was nice getting to reconnect. So that was fun for me because Mike already had a good relationship with the whole Hape crew. I was just meeting them for the first time at the Hape event, but they were working that event, right? Because they were like, essentially thinking like they're on the clock because it's their event. They're putting it on. They're responsible. So they have this whole thing. At the PXN party, they were not working. They could drink, party, have a good time. So that was kind of cool because they were getting wild and crazy. Everybody was having a good time, having fun. They did some really cool sneak peeks on PXN on what they have going on in the future. I don't know what they've announced or not announced. I don't know what. I mean, I don't care. I'm just gonna. So Ray came on stage and basically introduced that they have all of these partnerships coming forward, but that they're what the thing that everybody went nuts for is that they're basically writing and putting together an anime.
Yeah.
And I think they said it was going to be a show. I don't know if it's going to be streamed, or I don't know how it's coming together, but they showed like a preview basically for this anime that they're putting together,
And it
and everybody
was
went nuts.
fire.
Oh, it looked amazing. It
Yeah.
looked amazing. I don't know a ton about anime in that world. I mean, again, the crowd went nuts, but it is the PXN party, so you would expect that. What is that going to do? I don't know. I don't have any answers for that, but it's I will say it looked amazing. The presentation they put on lasted about 10 minutes, and that was really good. And that was, I remember Mike and I talking about, like, this is something that should have been a part of every event that was out there, is something like this. Like, if you're going to get your team together and have your whole crowd, the people who are fans and holders, it would be nice to give them, for lack of a better term, a little alpha, right? A little bit of like, here's some, we want to make sure that the juice is worth the squeeze. You all traveled out here, some from very far away. We want to show you a little bit about what we're putting together. So I thought they actually did a pretty good job of that. And everybody seemed to respond very well to it. And so, yeah, that was there. And here's what happened. It wasn't super late. I want to say it might have been maybe just after midnight or between midnight and 1. And the party was still going. I think it was supposed to go to like 3 or 4. And I looked at Mike and I was like, bro, I think we have gotten everything we need to get here. We've talked to all the people we need to talk to. My knees are about to eject off of my legs. Can we please just go home and go to bed? Because this is where, man, I was just so freaking tired. And so we leave there, and Mike's like, dude, we're not walking. We have to get a cab or an Uber.
No way.
And I'm like,
No.
okay, so no problem. So we started walking, and every time, like, we'd see somewhere, we'd like, oh, we'll go up one more block. Oh, we'll go up one more block. We walked way too freaking far, but we ended up getting in a cab. It was a cab, because I remember this now. We get in a cab, and we tell him where we need to go. And Mike is telling this guy the address of our hotel, and he keeps saying, like, well, which one? And he's like, because it was Embassy Suites or something, I don't know, something like that. And he's like, which one? And I said, it doesn't matter. Just go to this address and drop us off. You don't have to bring us to just go to this fucking address and drop us off, because we're getting upset now. We're cranky. We're tired. And I remember I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I now understand why there's a barrier between the passenger.
I was agitated.
Because I was agitated, right? And so we get back to this address, and this was fantastic. I'm tired. I don't want to deal with the cab anymore. So I'm like, Mike,
that pieces out immediately.
So I open the door because there's cars going by on the right side. So I open the left door and get out. And I assume Mike will get out on that side so he doesn't open up his door into traffic. One would think. Mike pays the thing, has a conversation with the guy. Instead of getting out on the left, gets out on the right, but tells the guy in the cab, hey, just so you know, the left door is open. I'm already in the hotel.
I looked at him straight in the face. I said, bro, the other door is open. Hold on, let me get it.
Now, you hear Mikey's voice now. At this point, when I say that our voices were raspy, like, we did not have a voice. It's like a whisper with a little bit of emphasis behind it, right? So Mike gets out and shuts the door, and the cab starts going forward.
No. He doesn't go forward. This motherfucker guns it. This motherfucker is like, he decides he's in an IndyCar 500 race, and that door is wide fucking open, and there is the biggest trash bin. Like, what?
It was a construction dumpster. One of those giant construction dumpsters that's like the size of a dump truck. was sitting there in front on the left side. Keep going.
Motherfucker guns it, and I am screaming at this little horse of war going, whoa, 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 whoa. And this motherfucker just smashes it with his door, and he comes to a screeching halt, and he like looks back at me as to see if I saw it. I mean, that door had to be fucking wrecked.
Dude.
And he just pauses for like 5 seconds and then just takes off. And I was like, what are you going to do, buddy? I told you your door was open. I felt like he was thinking, like, I'm going to go back and fucking yell at this guy. And I was like, bro, I told you your door was open.
Can you imagine Mike with no voice
Oh, my God.
to scream at this guy?
I was screaming at the top of the lungs that I had left.
I had no idea it happened. And Mike just comes in and he's like, dude, do you know what just happened to the cab back there? And proceeds to tell me how this dude almost ripped his dang door off.
Oh, my bro. Dude,
oh my
gosh, he fucked
man.
that door up.
That door, yeah, I mean, when you look at those construction dumpsters, he might as well have just hit a brick wall.
Oh, my God, it was hilarious.
That door. So Mike was just like, well, whatever, comes on in, and that was that. So, dude, good times. I can't laugh because it makes me cough.
And then we got, so by the way, before we started the stream, Maddie and I are like still COVID tired. We're going to stream for an hour, maybe. It's 8:16 already.
I know, bro.
We've been streaming for like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and we still have the final. We can do the short recap of the final. So we finally go to bed. By the way, New York, also tiny, just everywhere, right? So this was the nice suite, which was like still half of a regular. And Matt's friend travels so much, he hooked us up with some like Hyatt points. So we got to stay. We had a hotel room. It was great because the Airbnb's bed was like sleeping on fucking cardboard. But so this was like actually nice, and we had pillows, but there was only single beds available. So 2 grown 40-year-olds, shirts off, just staring at each other on the pillows, slowly going to sleep.
Snuggling, singing a lullaby.
It was beautiful. So we fall asleep. We both wake up, and I'm like, bro, I don't feel good. And I was like, I think I'm getting sick. And so I take a COVID test.
So, and to which I said, I'm fine, like that.
Matt,
as I'm coughing a lung out.
Which proceeds to start
insisting that I'm fine.
So if any of you, as you continue to get to know Matty, and you meet him in real life, I've known him my whole life, Matt, you will tell Matt that he is sick or the sky is blue, and if he's convinced that he doesn't want to believe that, he will not believe that. I was like, bro, I think I tested like semi-positive for COVID. That I convinced myself I didn't see a second line, which I don't. I think I was on the fringe.
I saw it. There was no second line. You were negative then.
It was on the fringe, and I was like, I think this is going the wrong direction. And Maddie, and this is why when Matt coughs, I just laugh every time because he would go, and he was like thinking that he was masking his cough, but it just sounded worse. It's like, bro, just cough. Because his head, he's like, if I actually cough like a normal person, that's going to make me sick.
Yeah, man.
And I was like, bro, you're fucking sick. Just believe it. So
I don't like being sick. And but then Mike's like, you should also take a COVID test. And I'm thinking, honestly, I wasn't even going to do it because I'm thinking, well, if Mike tested, I mean, Mike's just gone through everything. He's been food poisoned. The dude's hacking up along all the time. He has no voice. He's sitting there. He already is. He's like eating halls like it's candy and freaking just chomping all this, this. And I'm thinking, if he doesn't have COVID, I should be fine. So I take the test. It also comes back negative. Mm-hmm. So here we are. It's Friday morning, 2 negative tests. Thinking, all right, no problem. We're good to go.
I'm thinking it's just maybe some little allergies and I'm going to get better.
we're just exhausted. We're just
Mm-hmm.
tired.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna hit the road. So we hit the road, get in the car, we're traveling,
By the way, when we get in the car
and
first, I'm like, Maddie, don't worry, bro. Give me an hour. I can help you drive.
because we're tired, right? And so Mike was like, "Listen, man, if you need me to drive for a little bit, just give me like a good hour. I'll rest, and then I can drive." But while we're leaving the city, Mike's like, "Dude, we need to find a place to eat. I'm starving." No problem. But you got to get out of the city. That takes a little bit of time, and you go through the tunnel and everything. And so he finds this place
Dude, that
called
place.
Harold's. Harold's,
Harold's Jewish Deli. It's
dude.
unbelievable.
This place, of course, he finds it because it's been on like Man
Man
versus
versus
Food,
food.
the Diner Show. It's been on all these shows, and we get in this place, dude. I knew something was going on because when I
I
walked
just
into this
linked it.
place, you look at the menu at this place.
It's
Okay.
unbelievable.
When I walked in, when you normally see a place that has desserts and you see a normal layer cake, it's what, like 2, 3, 4 inches high, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
right? I walk in and these cakes are like 2 feet freaking high. You think I'm exaggerating?
Oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, it looked like the Leaning Tower. It was like these cakes were gigantic. And I'm like, what is this place? Come to find out, this place specializes in like catering menu and family style meals. Well, the problem is it's just me and Mikey. But at this point, I'm seeing the food and I'm like, this is too good, man. We have to do this.
We're walking by the food, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck is this place? I mean, it was
And
unbelievable
yes.
shit I have never seen before.
And I knew something was up too, because you look at the menu and it would be like, oh, you want a turkey sandwich? It's $82. $82, but then you look at it and it's like serves 40.
Yeah.
You're like, the fuck? Like, who in the heck is buying 40 turkey sandwiches? And so anyway, we asked the waiter comes up and we're like, do you have anything for just like one person? And he says, yeah, there's a couple sandwiches here. They're single sandwiches. And I'm going to say single in quotes.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
Because we thought that meant one person.
Right.
Right. So Mike, what did you get? You wanted the
I got a
pastrami.
Reuben, dog.
Reuben, that's right. You get the Reuben.
Hell yeah.
Reuben.
Reuben fans out there, you better. The Reuben is the best sandwich ever created.
Dude, he gets the Reuben. I get a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich because I'm just like, I really was in the mood for breakfast food. It was the first meal we were eating that day. And then the guy said like the best thing at this place are their pancakes. They have these like world famous pancakes. And I know you say world famous, it always makes me think of the movie Elf when he sees that sign. It says the world's best coffee, and he's like, congratulations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I'm sure it's the world's best pancake. But like, all right, let's see what this is about. So we order a thing of pancakes, right? And we're like, we'll share it. So that was our idea. Mike gets a sandwich, I get a sandwich, and we'll share some pancakes. This food comes out. Mike's sandwich alone, it was like if you took a paper plate and you put a paper plate down on like a regular plate, the paper plate was like the bun of his sandwich.
It was
You know what I'm
insane.
saying? And then it's just cut in half. So it's like this sandwich looked like something that Scooby-Doo would eat. You know what I'm saying? This thing was ridiculous. And so the bacon, egg, and cheese comes out. So if you were to order an omelet, like the kind of omelet where if you ate just that omelet, you would be full, that was one half of just the egg sandwich. I mean, there must have been like 10 slices of bacon on this thing.
Yep.
It was insane, right? Cheese oozing out everywhere. And then they proceed to show up with the pancake. And I say pancake. This pancake was the size of a pizza, like a large pizza. So we're sitting there, we're fighting apparently the onset of COVID, and we're trying to eat this food. We're tired. We're eating this stuff. We're falling asleep. Food was amazing, though. I need to go back there not sick and
Incredible
dying.
stop.
I would love to
Incredible
experience
stop.
it. one of the best. So that was like the best part by far of the trip home was the food. Mike found this little gem. Harold, you need to see it. Do we have any pictures? Do we have any pictures of that?
I just linked it in chat. Like, just go to their website. You'll see. It's insane.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here's a picture. You can see my hand there in reference and the chair. That should tell you what you need to know. That is the
Oh,
pancake.
that's his hand. That's the pancake.
That is the pancake.
Oh my god, it was unbelievable. And that was like he was like, "Do you guys just want one pancake?" And we're like, "Yeah, I guess." And he's like, "No, you just want one." And we're like, "Okay."
Dude, that was one pancake. So anyway, amazing. We eat that. We get back in the car and I turn on the car and I drive to get under the shade of a tree and I put it back in park. It's like, Mike, just give me 10 minutes, bro. I just need to shut my eyes for 10 minutes. And so
Because at
I
this
try to take
point,
a little
my
power nap.
narrative was changing. I was like,
Oh,
"Bro, I can't drive right yet." And he's like, "Okay, well, I need 10 minutes of sleep then."
yeah. My eyes are starting to feel like they're so Dirty Dan talking about eye pain, dude. My eyes felt like they were going to eject out of my skull, and I'm like, I just need to shut my eyelids for 10 minutes. And so we've all been there when you're like you're on it, you're tired and you're driving. You're like just let my brain turn off for a little bit of time and I'll be fine. And you start doing that like negotiation, you know what I mean? But I'm thinking I am not, we've got to get home. So we start driving. we go we go about an hour. And
Kind of like that. He was doing kind of like that. Stargirl
we're
texted
coughing.
us, swallow some damn honey to help her coughs.
I'm
Oh
so sorry.
no,
I know.
Star, I'm
I'm
sorry.
trying. I know. I'm trying. So so we're driving. We go about an hour. We hit another rest stop to get some waters for Mike, and he had to go to the bathroom. Drive maybe another 30 minutes, and I'm like, hey, man, we need to get gas. So we stop at a Wawa, and I'm still thinking, dude, my eyes hurt. Something's wrong, but I can't admit to Mike that I'm getting sick. So we'll be fine. Well, I also noticed at this time that it started feeling kind of cold in the car, and I'm thinking, oh well, road trip, the AC's kicked in. It's just overpowered. But I'm
Mm-mm.
looking at it, and I keep turning up the degrees, and now it's set to 72. Now it's set to 73. Now it's set to 74. This son bitch is at like 75. It's the middle of the summer, set to 75, and we're both just shivering in the car. Clearly
Couldn't have
something's
told you.
wrong.
Couldn't have told you it was hot. I felt pretty
So,
cold.
right? And so we go to Wawa, and when I walked in there, I remember looking around confused because I'm like, do Eskimos live here? Like it felt so freaking cold, and Mike's shivering, I'm shivering. Everybody else is like sweating and in shorts and a t-shirt.
Oh
And so I'm
man.
thinking, all right, this is probably not a good sign. So what do? Get an energy drink. Get 2 energy drinks, 2 for $4. And I'm thinking I'm going to power through this with caffeine. Get back on the road.
And by the way, when Matt gets in the car this time, I look at him and I said, "Bro," I said, "if you need me to drive, we are getting a hotel room because I ain't driving anywhere. I am
Yeah.
fooked at this point. I am done."
Mike in 2 hours went from give me an hour and I'll drive, I'm fine. And 2 hours later, he was like, let's just get a fucking hotel.
I was done,
That's where
man.
Mike was at.
I
Okay.
would have paid $2,000 for that hotel if you would have told me I had to drive.
Oh my gosh, dude. But I'm in this moment. Like now it's a battle because now I'm like, no, I am not going to get a hotel 2.5 hours away from home.
This is the
No
Maddie
way.
coming out. This is the Maddie coming out.
Listen, there's like, I'm a difficult person. I'm very, very stubborn person. And then there's me. Okay. And so I could not lose at this point. So we're driving
He's
and
fighting.
I'm in this like zen. Like I'm staring deadly forward. My head is on the rest. I am doing nothing. The only energy I have is for steering the car. And Mike keeps asking, "Bro, you okay?" And I'm like, "I'm fucking fine, bro. Just let me keep breathing. Just let me keep
Just like that.
breathing, bro."
So,
Every breath was a
you
negotiation.
know, when Matt zones out in our streams and it looks like he could murder anybody at any moment, it
Um,
was that constant. There
correct.
was no
That
break
it
in
is
that
that.
stare.
I don't do that on purpose. I'm sorry, by the way, for all of you that do that. I get to thinking about something, and for what people have like resting bitch face. I have
That's
resting homicidal face. So it just is what it is. I don't.
RHF. We're
Maybe
gonna
that's a
start
thing.
calling it that. The
There it is.
RHF.
RHF. So yes. So I'm driving, and then Mike's finally like, "Dude, should we get a hotel?" Now we're like 2 hours away. I'm like, "No." So I suggest, dude, just put something on your phone, like a show or like a movie or something on HBO Go. And he's like, "Fine." So he put some show on there, and all that's happening is I'm just like letting my brain be distracted, driving. Mike's not saying anything. We're just sitting there like, just get
I was
home, just get
dead.
home. And I will say, so by the time we woke up that morning and we felt like tired, tested negative for COVID. So we're like, all right, we'll be okay. I remember thinking this could be a good day. We'll get home, we'll relax. Remember, Mike was like, "Oh, dude, we'll get home. We'll play some video games. It'll
Dude, we
be
were gonna have a
amazing. We're
video
gonna
game
hang
night. It was
out."
gonna be
Oh,
amazing.
dude, we get home and it was like not even spoken. It was just like Mike goes to
Wait,
the
wait, wait.
he goes to the
Before we even get to going to bed, when we pull into the driveway, Matt looks at me dead in the eye and he goes, "Bro, I am not lying when I tell you this. I was living breath to breath." And I was like, "Well, I'm glad you told me that now that we're home. I didn't know it was that
dude.
severe."
You all know what I'm talking about. Like when you're not feeling well and you're doing that, like you like just breathe in, breathe out. And like that's all your brain can do. I did that for 2 hours on the way home. That's how we got home. So we do that and get in and dude, we're like, let's just take a nap and call it that. And it was exactly what we knew it was gonna be. That nap turned into we just went to bed for the entire night, slept the whole time. In the morning, Mike's knocking on the door. He's and what did you say? You were like, "Bro, I'm positive," or something like that. You were like, I have fucking COVID. I
Yep.
know it." And yeah, so dude, we went from like a 5 hour car trip from negative to positive with COVID,
And that's
and then
it.
that was
That
that.
is Mikey and Maddie's first
That was our
experience
adventure.
doing NFTs. And I think Matt summed it up very, very correctly when he just simply said, "That was an experience, bro. That was an experience." And it really was. But we had fun, man. At the end of the day, we had a freaking blast. I wouldn't change it for the world. I would still go to those parties. I would still meet the people. And I just like, dude, it's just the beginning, man. It's just the beginning. I mean, we have so many cool, and that's what gets me, man, super jacked is like, we are going to build, we already have built something cool, but it's going to continue to get bigger. And I get to do it with my best buddy and now some of my best friends that I've all met through this, through the NFT space. And we're just going to grow together. And we've already met some of you in real life, and we'll continue to do that. And as we start generating revenue and income for our stream, you're damn straight that a majority of that money is going to be coming back to getting as many people as we can in real life together and having some fun.
100%.
Because we do. We have some damn
Dude,
fun.
we had a ton of fun. And seriously, I know we've said it a bunch, but like getting a chance to meet you guys in person and just hang out,
Oh,
unbelievable. That was by
unreal.
far the highlight.
Yep.
Just I knew that it's like again, Mikey said it. We knew that was going to happen eventually, but it was surreal, but it was so much fun, and it gets me so much more excited to do more events
Yep.
where we get to meet you guys in person and just because I feel like we're already friends, but then it's like now it's real, you know what I mean? And it's just really cool, man. I'm excited to meet more of you, and so it was great, and I can't wait to do something where we're back in New York again. And now when we meet up, it's like we can pick something new to do, and it's going to be that crowd. We can get Bonji, Silos, Kurt. If you're flying in, got to be there. Dirty Dan, and we got to get even more people. God, we need to get you there. Star, we need to get you there. Meta Sculptor, get out there for sure. K Baller, but the whole crew. That's the thing. We want all these OG. I mean, just everybody that's here. We'll have to do something. And Mike and I were talking about knowing that we could do that. It would be very easy to set something up and just do some type of get together. Be a ton of fun. So yeah, man, I'm exciting about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got a lot of ideas we're working on. I think one of the things that has really been something that stuck with Mike and I post NFT NYC is there's even though we're in a bear market, there is a tremendous amount of opportunity still all over the place.
Yeah.
And being able to talk to some of the people that are capitalizing on it, and
Mm-hmm.
here's what's cool, not just capitalizing, but very open about sharing ideas,
Mm-hmm.
willing to help us, willing to get us connected to the right people, which has already been amazing over the last couple weeks, the connections
Yep.
is there's a lot of places to go. And so when Mike says thinking about ways to monetize our brand, here's the thing, man. It's not about we don't do this for the money, but we all have lives, right? At the end of the day, like we have to monetize it in a way so that we can justify what we're doing because there are real expenses to what we do. There was a real cost to going to NFT
Yeah.
NYC.
NFT NYC was not cheap.
Correct, correct. And there's a real cost to production and getting editors and, being able to do things and ideally having, I'd like to get something more stable for our team and the people that are helping us out and working out like that. It just takes revenue to do that. And so when we talk about monetizing it, we don't mean monetizing it because we're trying to go drive Ferraris. You know what I'm saying? That's not what it's about at
Right.
all. We're talking about we just want the business to be able to pay for the expenses so that way we can just actually focus on what it is we want to do, which is, of
Mm-hmm.
course, bringing back that human connection. And
Yeah.
so, and it takes money to do that. That's all
Right.
it is. And we're excited to find some ways
Yep.
that we weren't thinking of before that we're now thinking of that can help us do
Do you
that.
want to
And that's
talk
that's
about
so
some of the
cool.
ideas or no? Just wait.
Let's wait. Let's hold off on those.
Okay.
Let's hold off on those, but because we're kind of late in terms of time wise, like you said, we started this out tired, and we're like, let's go for an
Yeah,
hour,
I'm
and here
pretty
we are,
tired.
2 hours and 40 minutes. So,
Yep.
I mean, any last thoughts? Anything you guys have for us? Any questions? Any big wins, losses? Anything you guys want to chat about?
Yeah, any last questions? I don't know. While we're waiting for that, the thing I can say is we have found some partners that are going to help us out, and we'll announce those when it's ready. But people are noticing us, they're noticing our brand, and we're getting into the right conversations. Um, so
Yes.
things are happening. I envision by the end of this year,
Hmm.
we should have some solid viewership, or not viewerships, but solid following, and be monetizing some things and bringing in some revenue to spread back to you all. So we're
100%.
excited.
Kurt, to answer your question, yes, we are planning on NFT LA. Obviously, that's a much easier
100%
one
I
for
will be
Mike to
there.
go to. And I will see what I can do to be able to get out there to be a part of that. I think that'd be a ton of fun. Too deep. I don't know if you're saying there is an NFT Toronto or if there should be. Um,
I'm
I don't
sure
know. I
there's an
haven't heard
NFT
anything.
Toronto.
I haven't heard about that. That being said, I do feel like a ton of the people in the space are from Canada. We met a lot of people from Canada.
There are a lot of
So
people from Canada.
there very well could be an NFT Toronto, and that would make sense.
Yeah.
Oceanside Waffle, by the way, first time chat. Thank you. And I did see that you popped in here. We appreciate that.
Who?
Oceanside Waffle, by the Oceanside Waffle. I'm actually loving that name the more I read it.
Dude,
Hmm.
Oceanside, thank you for the sub. We appreciate you. What do we think about P to E space within the NFTs? Well, we've had a lot of them on our show. And I will say, and we've talked about this, I think the interesting thing is going to be Um, and we'll continue to have this conversation. Um, but these NFTs are being valued at thousands of dollars, and when people aren't making thousands of dollars a day playing PDE games, there's going to be some market adjustment. Is I guess the best way to say it.
Well, hold on though, because we did talk about that, but remember, you're assuming that you have to do that with a daily, like hourly rate you would make. But where I disagree with that is that the money in the PDE games, it will depend on the marketplace they create.
Right.
And
No, I
again, it could
agree.
go significantly up if you start talking about the
Right.
ability to
Right.
monetize
Right.
skins, graphics, and things that you can win in the game. Then people really could make thousands of dollars
For
easily,
sure.
easily in the game.
Absolutely. I'm
So
saying
I would
I
say if
don't
the
know.
NFT pulls that off, then it could be very valuable. If it
Hmm.
does not, I think the key here is it will be as valuable as they allow. The more monetization the PDE game has, the more valuable the NFT will be,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be on them.
Oceanside,
So,
I would check out. Uh, Probably. I'm still super bullish on
I
Clementines. And what is Clementines at? It's gotta be.
don't know. Let me take a look.
Uh, Clementines is at 0.09. You should immediately go buy one of those because ETH is at $1,000. So
Not
that's
financial advice.
no, not financial advice, but my recommendation is to immediately go buy one of those because this company is building a real thing and they're going to build a AAA game and that shit is 0.09 in a
Yeah,
horrible market. So if you can wait till Q4, then I think it's a smart move. It's a long, long, long play. Um, but you know, just to say, when this thing came out, it was at an ETH. Now it's at 0.09. So games like that, other games that I think you should check out are Citadel.
yeah.
Um, there's just so many out there. I will say this: 0.5% at most are gonna make it. Wolf game days are done because you can't value the token. Someone's holding the bag. People are smart enough.
Yeah.
That's not going away. That's going away. So it's whoever creates the first legit PDE desktop game and whoever creates the first PDE mobile game. Mobile is going to be huge. I can't. I'm shocked that somebody hasn't figured that out yet. But we are talking to a project and we'll have them on the show. Their CEO made all of like the counter.
Mike, your mic just went out. We lost you. Did you hit mute?
I muted myself, people.
There we go. We got it.
They made all the mobile strike games like Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Age of Empire ones with Kate Upton. Like billions of dollars were spent on these
Mhm.
games and advertising. That one of the head guys is creating a mobile NFT company. I've met the guy in real life for lunch actually a couple days ago. We're gonna get them on the show in a little bit. They really haven't started marketing their product yet. PDE is gonna be huge in the future. It's just not there yet.
Yeah,
Those are my thoughts.
for sure.
Um,
Last thought I wanted to share, because I haven't seen anything else in text or questions or anything like that. But one of the things that I was going to say is as we create more content on YouTube, one thing that would be a huge benefit for us is especially you guys who have been our longtime viewers, any feedback you have on our videos, and just even if you can just hop in there and start the video and just hit the like button, and then you don't have to even watch the whole thing because most of the stuff you've seen right now, unless if it's from the stream. Although Mike and I are doing a lot of other content where it's just us talking and it'll be only for YouTube releases. But what I'm really trying to get at is it's your thought process I'm more into. If you guys have feedback for us or ideas or content that you would like to see or you would like to see Mike and I talk about in that type of a format, let us know. reach out
Okay.
to us either on Discord or Twitter or however you want to. And we'd love to chat with you guys. All of you all have access to us. So love to know what you guys think. And actually, ATX Dubstep, you just said you love the shorts. If there's certain stuff with that you like, let us know because some of
Okay.
that stuff we do really has nothing to do with NFTs. It's just stuff about Mike and I's life. If that's something you guys want us to keep doing, let us know. If you want it to only be NFTs, I'd be curious about that. But I think the shorts is one of the areas where we can really branch out and kind of do some other stuff because it's, they last
Hmm.
15 seconds. But we are doing those. And so, yeah, let us know if you have thoughts. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, and
Um,
I think it's worth adding maybe two or one channel, and it's really just a feedback section. We don't really have a ton of feedback there. So I'm just going
yeah,
to the Discord right now. We got the waiting room, socials, submissions, bounties, attention, events,
yeah,
security, YouTube tweets, chat, next level, following feed,
gotcha.
follow, fan art, ticket, chatting. So yeah, maybe we have a feedback, but we really want, because this is the power, and I love that you bring this up, Maddie. This is the power of Web3. Power of Web3 is really community, and we're building it in the right way, I think. But I want a I'll pitch you the video that's coming up and what the video is. So for instance, I launched a Seth Green uh we launched the Seth Green Board Ape video today. I will say, "Hey, have a video talking about Seth Green's Board Ape getting stolen. What do you all think would be a good title?" Riff off that. If there's something that's interesting that we pick, we can note you down as saying, hey, they gave us a YouTube title. And we will, even during the shitty market, continue to get pre-sale spots and whitelists and
Yeah,
stuff like that. When we have opportunities, you will be the first on the list to get that. And then same for ideas too. So the title ideas, and then um, just feedback on, we like this video, but you should think about this, or here's another content video that I'd like to do. Because I think the other thing would be helpful, Maddie, is to tell everybody how we think about our content, and this
yeah.
is how we think
Well, hold
about.
on real quick though, because before you get on a riff, I want to address what people are saying before it's like 10 minutes old. Kurt, we are streaming on Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. We've been doing that for about a month and a half, 2 months now, because they finally took the rules down where Twitch affiliates don't have to wait. What is it, 48 hours, 24 hours to put on YouTube? So we are streaming on YouTube actually right now. Um, and so, with that being said, we got that. And then the other thing you were saying, 10-minute videos browsing through projects would be cool. Metasculptor. We are going to start doing some more of that. We've been doing videos right now, kind of riffing off of NFT news, but we will get into projects. The only thing about that is I will say that is the most content out there in YouTube when it comes to
Right,
to
right,
what's out there and other larger influencers already is them doing just that. And so I
right.
don't necessarily know, and this kind of goes back to what Mike is saying. So our thought process for YouTube,
Yeah.
we don't want to try to outdo what people are already doing. We want to be ourselves and be midlife crisis and have our own content
Mhm.
because otherwise we're just going to be in competition, right?
Mhm.
And so for us to
Mhm.
have somebody like Crypto Gorilla on the show, I want to make sure that like we're not trying to outdo Crypto Gorilla. Crypto Gorilla has a fantastic business model, and so we'd like to augment that. That's why we loved having Gorilla on the show. But then also, how can we do things in our own way? And he's been very grateful and gracious um, about being forthcoming with like, hey, here's what I'm doing. Here's who can work. Here's how you can network. And so that kind of goes to Kurt, what you were saying, which is reaching out to these big influencers on YouTube. We are in that process right now, and
Right.
we're talking to them. So go ahead, go take it from there, Mike. I just want to make sure we
Yeah.
address people
And
when
this
they
is the
say
last
something.
thing I'll say, because I do have to go, and my wife wants to hang out a little bit, and she now has to go to the office a couple days a week. this is how we think about it, but I think this is helpful, and we might just cut this. I might just cut this to have it as a little bit of thing. But all right, where do I start? I want to start this way. We have our stream. Our stream is what I think is our bread and butter because we do content and no one else is doing in the NFT space, which is having open, genuine conversations with founders, people in the space, but no one can replicate what we're doing. One, Maddie and I have known each other for a long time. It comes naturally to us. I think we're good at it. People really appreciate it. And 95% of the content out there is 100x your bag. Degen into this project. Here are the top projects going on. We have no real interest to do that. I don't think I want to spend my time doing that. I want to spend my time on what we're strong at, which is what we're doing right now. That being said, we know we'd be stupid just to do that. So we have our 2-3 hour content. Those will be started to going down to 10 to 15 minute videos of highlights. Maddie and I are starting to make video content like the Seth Green stuff every day. Those buckets are going to be in relevant news, interesting things in the NFT space, and then 2, educational. So we just made a video on what is a rug. So when people come, they understand just basic terminology and things that are happening in the space. So now we've got our full-blown streams, our condensed streams. We have educational content. We have newsworthy topical content. And then we're going to continue to go into the YouTube network. In addition, we're working with influencer networks, marketing agencies, and we have some other ideas about ways that we can get sponsorship and get some more exposure. Currently, we
Correct.
have TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. All of those
And
will be
Twitch.
ramped up, and Twitch. All of those will be ramped up. But what we think the bread and butter is our type of content, and we don't want to veer too much out of that. I think we need to understand and own the YouTube title, description, and thumbnail game, and we'll be okay in the future. And now it's just about pumping as much content out as we possibly can.
Exactly. And
Stock
stock poker
Poker's raiding us with
with a
3
raid.
viewers. Hell
Thank
yeah.
you. We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Unfortunately, we're about to go off the air, but anybody that's new that just came, we're Mikey G and Maddie Mintz. Maddie, give them the breakdown of 30 seconds of what this place is about.
Okay, so basically, here's what it is. We stream, we talk about NFTs, crypto, and what we do is we bring on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, we bring on influencers, companies that are movers and shakers in the space, but mainly it's the founders of specific NFT projects, and we interview them and we try to find out and peel back the layers about who they are, how they got interested in this space, and what makes them tick, why people should be listening to them, what's exciting about their project. It is not meant to be a shill for the project. It's meant to be a shill for human beings. And we're fascinated because there's so many different people from different walks of life in this space. And we think that that makes the space a unique one. And so we bring that to you guys. And we are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are, of course, here on Twitch. And we are growing all of those venues. But we have unique content on YouTube for specific videos that we do where we talk about relevant crypto events. And yes, Kurt Alexander, I'm thinking about the exact same thing about some of the other influencers on the crypto side with YouTube. We're working on that now, trying to knock on some doors and see if we can get some connections from that as well.
Right. So that's us in a nutshell. Thank you, Iron Mike. Thank you, Stock Poker. We appreciate you so much. We'll give you a follow back on Twitch as well. Any final closing comments? But that's how we're thinking about our content. We got a lot of other stuff working in the background, but we're going to start those feedback channels. We appreciate you all so much. The fact, and I will end with this, and I'll do some closing comments, and then Maddie, you do your closing comments. Tonight is why we do what we do. Be able to have people that are in our chat, meet them in real life, have some drinks, have a party night together, feel like when we see them, it's like we're hanging out already because we're familiar with each other. It means the world to Maddie and I. And we just cannot wait to continue to grow this thing. So, heartfelt thank you to all of you here. We love you, and I'm never going to stop loving you. Maddie?
Yes. Stock poker. If you guys have questions about, I can't tell if you are really starting NFT or if you're just questions. But obviously, all our contact info is there. Reach out to either Mike or me. We're happy to help any way we can.
Yeah, stock
Um,
poker. Just
and
tell me it's stock poker and DM me on Twitter, and we can chat.
Yep. So make that easy. And yeah, I mean, Mike nailed it. I mean, this is what we love to do. We love to build communities, and that's what we're doing here. And this is, Sundays is when we get to really get a chance to talk to our community. Obviously, it's been kind of a weird month because we were gone for NFT NYC. Then, of course, we had COVID. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed our recap of that week, and our subsequent trip home from it. And yeah, we're going to be back at it. We're going to be back on Tuesday. Who do we have on Tuesday, Mike?
Metatope. So we got Metatope Tuesday. I think we have NFT Go IO on Thursday. I'm still working with them. If not, I got a pinch hitter lined up. And then we have more projects coming the next week. So what we got going on for this upcoming week, Metatope for sure. Metatope is creating, and this is what's different about them, and I think they're smart. They're business guys, own previous companies, successful entrepreneurs, but they're creating metaverse ready avatars, but camera ready too. So we could use our avatar to stream. You could use your avatar to do Instagram stuff. Like, they're making it applicable right away. They had an insane 3D booth experience at NFT NYC. The guys are super great. They're already racking their brain on how we can bring more value to our community. Like I said, above and beyond the pre-sale NFTs. Going to be an amazing conversation. Already talked to the guys in real life at NFT NYC. I had a follow-up call with them a couple days ago. They couldn't be more jazzed up. So Tuesday's going to be great. Thursday, NFT Go IO. It's an analytical platform. They're supposed to be coming on. I just haven't got the final go yet. And then my cousin is coming in town. So, Maddie, we're going to have to talk about Sunday and figure out what we want to do.
Okay.
And then, but yes, that is what's on the docket for this week, and we couldn't be more excited.
Awesome. And Stock Poker, Iron Mike, and Willie Mays 420. We appreciate those follows. Thank you very much.
Hell yeah. Thanks for the follows, people. And yeah, please drop in our Discord too. We have an amazing community, amazing people. They're all NFT advocates, hardcore NFT people, and we just like to hang out with each other because they're good people. So
Yeah.
We had a blast tonight. Any final words before I shut her down, Manny?
No, man. Good talking with everybody.
All
Thanks
right.
so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. We love
Our
you
1
all.
hour stream turned into a solid 3 hour stream.
100%.
We love you all. We'll be back Tuesday with Metatope and some awesomeness, midlife crisis.